Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of AFC North Talk, presented by True Classic. And by the way, I know everybody's expecting me to do something crazy here. And I had the look, Lashane is here, and I was pulling it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it there because
we got it. Come on, we're getting the chain today, right?
We gotta get the chain today.
At least sunglasses or something. I mean, come on.
No. Look. I started looking for my cigar. I couldn't find it. Somebody tweeted at me. He's like, "Sonny, are you bringing your cigar?" I was like, "Can't find it." And he's like, "Well, you go ahead, buy a damn one." And I'm like, "This is you God telling me. You got me one. You gave me one. Be humble. Take it easy. And then if you keep eating, then do it." So
let me just tell you something, Sonny. You gotta sometimes in life you just gotta enjoy these wins when you get them because sometimes they're very few and far between.
You're right. Last year I only got one. Right? Last year I only got one.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I had a lot of fun after beating the Bengals this year, and
but I saw a super chat.
I used it up for all it's worth.
I saw a super chat that I'm gonna bring soon, and it goes tied with Zim's video, which just made me happy. Zim's video is like I just retweeted LOL. Like that right there just made me my night. I haven't slept, but it was okay. It just gave me energy. Anyway, here and Noah's still here.
Tweet. Zim's tweet was good, where he said the injury one, where he's we had a bunch of injuries. Great, that was a good tweet.
Tom Brady only got 6 roughing the passer versus 16 refs. Roughing the passer, rest bias against Tom Brady.
Against Tom Brady? Yeah, I think so. After yesterday, clearly, yeah.
Now, this went. Hold on. Okay, Bengals wasn't healthy, so the game don't count, right? Now, I would like to know, Ace, how many? I know T. Higgins started the game, play a little bit, and got pulled. Right, he looked like he wanted to be in the game because he kept his helmet. Other than him, who was the other big time injuries?
DJ Reader. DJ Reader's the big one.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Jonah went down for a little bit, didn't he? Or did he come back?
Jonah did, but ended up coming back. But the biggest one was probably, I'd probably say DJ Reader even more so than Higgins.
Yeah. Also, La'el Collins is. I think we can all agree he's playing through stuff right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't nobody care when an offensive lineman playing.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But I get it. But
so for those Bengals fans, because I heard this narrative. It's like, so you're comparing like 15 injuries to 2. And I'm like, hey, we didn't have Bateman. If I remember Reader, like, well, we lost Pierce, nose tackle. Are we just want to count one by one here? What the hell are you talking about? Anyway, it was cute. I applaud you for the try. If you don't want to count it, that's fine. You don't count it.
No, they're just joking. They're not serious. That's not a serious.
I know. Rodgers was making up for
Boger. Boger was making up for the missed PI call.
Yeah.
Oh, the referee.
Boger needs to get fired.
It's crazy. We know the refs' names now, right? Like Jerome Boger.
Ref's name, it's because he's.
I only know Boger. If you ask me how many you know, I know Boger.
Well, no, they got the Hercules ref.
Yeah, Ed Hockley. Ed Hockley's kid. Ed Hockley's kid retired. I think
the kid retired.
I think
Ed Hockley retired.
Ed Hockley retired for sure, but I think his kid's not a ref either anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess I knew him too.
Yeah.
Noah Stone also here. What happened to the vaunted Steelers?
Can't Can't wait for that. The 30 for 30 that they're going to, the documentary they make about the Steeler defense, the fall from grace from week 1. Now, that was a month ago, guys. It was a month ago we watched this team have 5 turnovers.
We saw that story within like the first 3 plays of the game. It was like, oh, wow, the Steelers, they might do it. Like, they got them backed up. Oh, LOL, Gabe Davis.
Exactly. Like, the great part about the Steeler game was that they didn't lead you on, right? It wasn't like, maybe. You know,
they gave you 3 plays of maybe it might happen, and then they were like, nah, dog.
By the way, that game, we'll talk about that game soon, but that game, Buffalo almost felt like they got bored and they like, are we really gonna keep trying to score this quickly? We need to.
Yeah, it was. I think Quincy was the one that tweeted it was like Rutgers, right? It was like a college game. It did actually feel like a Rutgers or like a college game, like when you have 2 teams that are, because in college, in the NFL, right, games are played here where you have blowouts, but
you don't ever feel like you don't have enough horses, right? Like that's what it felt like. Like they just don't got enough talent to overcome.
It felt like Buffalo could score whenever they wanted, however they wanted.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
They had to call out. I mean, they called off the dogs. Look, the Steelers gave up 38 points in this game and had two turnovers in the end zone. I mean, Buffalo was going in to score twice and got 2 turnovers. So it could have been a whole lot worse. Yeah, it felt like when Bama plays the Citadel. It was like, holy cow, these 2 teams are not even on the same league. We'll get there. We'll talk about that one.
Lamar's second throw will never have 525. I think Lamar had like almost 500. But again, Joe Power 9. If that makes you feel good, sure, go for it. For real dismissal here, it says, I'm only here as a Steelers fan, so I don't get fined. There you go.
Appreciate that.
Also, Tony,
shout out.
You looking at college tape already?
Will Anderson season, baby. Hey, listen, Will Anderson is going to look very good. I was
perusing through Panthers Twitter, and I already saw them doing mock drafts. I'm like, damn, brother. Like every time I'm like, yo, it's bad, and the Browns like, nah. I forgot what it was like to be at the bottom when we talk about mock draft in week 5. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey, at least you didn't trade up for Pickett. You know what I mean? You just got him, So at
least Pickett's the only good thing they got going for this.
Yeah, you still got your first. Well, I'm saying, like, you got your first round picks. You didn't give up an extra first or something like that.
Oh, goodness gracious.
To go up and get your guy. Like, so at least you got this draft to look forward to.
Give away multiple players. Yeah.
As a fantasy owner myself, I understand Andrew Berry. Comparing GM with the fantasy, who hasn't been up late on the waiver wire and IR list after?
Oh, he's talking about Andrew Berry deciding within minutes after that game, we can't start this man again at Mike linebacker. Like,
For those of you who don't know, the Falcons and Browns traded their middle linebacker from the Falcons.
Deion Jones,
and he said he was in IR, right? But I'm assuming he's supposed to be coming back soon.
He's on IR, but like it's like one of those situations where they want to bench a veteran, but he's too beloved to like just straight out bench him. So you gotta put him on IR.
And here, Bengals steal. That combination never seems to surprise me. Zach and Tomlin need to be fired. Here we go.
I think Zach Taylor needs to fire whoever is calling the plays over there in Cincinnati.
Zach Taylor.
He's got to find out who that guy is and get rid of him.
You got to take a long, hard look in the mirror and be like, "Hey, man, I think you're holding this team back."
We're definitely gonna get into that one for sure.
Vape guy here, shout out to you. I haven't seen your tweet, your comment. If you guys see it, let me know.
It's amazing watching this Bengals team struggle to get to 20 points. Like it's shocking.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that Simmons review and React says Ravens fan acting like they won the Super Bowl. I mean,
oh my God. We say that every time a team gets a big win and you salty about it. Oh, you did your Super Bowl.
I acted like we won the Super Bowl. No, I did.
No.
For good reason.
I'm here.
If a fan, look, here's the real life answer to that question. If a team's fan base is acting like they won the Super Bowl after they beat you, it's because you did something hilariously bad as the team that you root for. Right, you just were embarrassing, and like it's just what it is, right? And with the Ravens, I don't even think they reacting like it's a Super Bowl. I just think this is just.
I didn't see us.
Yeah. This is just
well, they got
because I haven't seen Raven fans extremely overjoyed about this one. Like they're still like worried about several things in there, but like whenever we say that, it's usually because you lose to. I don't even want to say the Jets because they 3-2. It's like you lost to the Panthers or something like that. Like, yeah, of course they're gonna act like it's a Super Bowl. They only get 3 of these a year.
Bengals will see Ravens again in the AFC North title. Hey, we'll definitely see in the week 18.
And
Still,
that's the final week of the year, right?
Yeah, a lot of football in
In
between.
Cincy, yeah, that should be fun.
Can't wait to see. I can't wait to see you guys decide who's going to win the tiebreaker between the Browns and Steelers to win this division.
Especially the Steelers. The Bengals were
The winner of that game slips in.
The Bengals were 7-6 before the Super Bowl run last season. Sorry, they sick this year. Okay, maybe this is the team they are. Okay.
Offense.
And let me see. Did I miss any? No. My Bengals got Q at the goal line doing Cincy special and shovel pass. They're still winning the division. Hooray. And then
I can't believe, was it Tyler Boyd that got caught on the double reverse right there?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't believe he is 45 yards away from the line of scrimmage. Like, he was so far away on that, man.
Yeah.
He lost like 12 yards in that play.
Yeah,
but it was crazy.
It was crazy. I was like, wow, that's something you call a 2-point conversion, because if it goes wrong, you don't have to worry about living with the play after it, right? Like, usually you don't call that.
But that's
I have a fear.
You don't call that on third down. You know what I mean? Like, you call that when it's like, hey, bro, we don't get this, then we just kicking the field goal anyways. I've
seen that play work a lot.
Or we giving up on downs. Like, that's not something you call. You like, all right, but we got a third down play. I think that was on second down, wasn't it?
That was third down. That was third down.
That was third down. Oh,
no. It was a second.
That's a fourth down play, or that's a 2-point conversion play. That's one of those you don't care what happens to the ball after you run it.
The reason why I know it's a second down ace is because then they pass it to Chase and he almost.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was second down. Oh my God, that's so much worse.
And then they wait for fourth. Yeah.
Oh, it was second down. Yeah. You're right.
How do you justify that on second down?
Second.
How do you justify that?
From the
like,
two, thing.
That is, you don't run that on second down. Second down.
Well, they didn't let Burrow just drop back and do anything on the goal line. I mean, that was the weird part about it.
Because then, they didn't run the ball either.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon,
really weird.
Great game for him. Let's just get into the red zone and not hand the ball to him.
Yeah, it was such a weird sequence of events, because it just felt like, okay, put the ball in Burrow's hands, let him make a decision, right? And probably good things going to happen there. And instead, it's like, let's get as cute as humanly possible for every time we're at the goal line. I mean, the second down Philly special, then they get it back to the one, and then they're going to go flip plays. Like, just let Burrow do something.
A second down Philly special. I mean, like, is that worse than the 3rd and 9 dive?
I don't know, man. The Jets ran Philly special on second down last week. And it worked,
I know.
So,
it worked. I was gonna
keep saying that.
Even if it works, you're like, man, we better never do that again. But second down on a double reverse trick play, like that, if that does not work, that's gonna be like 50, because it's not just that you're doing the double reverse and you're behind the line of scrimmage. It's that the quarterback is not the one throwing the football. So like the guy who's going to be in charge of getting rid of it before he gets sacked has no experience in doing that. There's no reason to run that on second down.
Well, Boyd did throw a pass last week.
He's thrown up. He's not like a quarterback. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this. Come on, man. That's like running a fake punt on second down for the lows. Like, that's some Madden stuff that like your nephew does because he doesn't know how to pick the plays when he's playing Madden. That's not an actual play call a grown adult makes. Like, that's wild to me.
Ravens should try to get Brian Burns from Panthers. Look, I think we're all excited because we think the Panthers are gonna go on a firestorm selling. I think the Panthers, they do have a strong defense. I don't know if they want to sell from their defenses. I actually can see some of the offensive weapons, right?
They apparently are getting rid of everybody. Like, apparently the Bills are looking at Christian McCaffrey. Apparently they're like reaching out to teams all around.
Well, no, the teams are reaching out to them. I don't know that it's the opposite.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like, hey man, you want Christian McCaffrey? Nah, I don't.
They should get rid of Christian McCaffrey though. I mean, the
Bills, they should get rid of almost everybody on their roster in the offseason, but like right now they got the perfect recipe to be terrible. Like, why
No,
would you
I think a couple.
That's
no,
another
no,
thing
no,
to
no,
do
no, no,
it.
no, Q.
Just go
Q,
ahead
Q.
and trade your
Think
best
about this.
players fully.
Here's the thing, though. That always backfires whenever you get rid of your best players, because then you whittle down the team to the dudes who actually want to be there. And those dudes play hard and might accidentally win a football game. No. You want the overpaid dudes who don't want to be there right now, who think this is a waste of their time because the effort they're going to give you is much worse than somebody who actually wants to play.
I think you trade specific players, right? Like Artie Burns, or not Artie, Brian Burns, right? It's a player, there's a cornerstone. What would you trade him? Now, if you think about Robbie Anderson, for example.
You're getting. I mean, the guys you actually should trade, you're going to get pennies on the dollar.
That's the thing. There's no
if you want to get the best value and you want to really rebuild, you got to trade those guys like Brian Burns. You got to trade Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, but
McCaffrey, I don't think they get much from McCaffrey. I would guess they don't get a lot from McCaffrey.
But
they get that contract off the books. They gotta do.
I just don't think you get great value right now because everybody's in resource holding mode, so it's going to be pretty low offers. It's just if you want to. Again, it's not like those dudes are a threat to make your team not awful. They've been awful all year. So it's like, what's the bet? Like, if you thought this was like a middling team that wanted to bottom out, okay, it makes sense, right? Because you don't want to accidentally win like 7 games. They're not winning 7 games in Carolina. Like, they might win 3.
They're competing with the Steelers, is what Tony's saying. Sorry, Q's saying the Browns
Steelers got the disadvantage, man, because they got team can't go under the top 10 with Brian Flores and Mike Tomlin. We'll see if they get right this year. You know what I mean?
The Browns ruined my perfect sports weekend. Garsh sweep, yet my Browns fail. Also, Garsh in 3 over the Yanks. Look, I hate the Yankees, so sure. Guardians. Pick up the Guardians.
Honestly, at this point, I hate the Yankees. I just don't like the Yankees off principle. I don't even watch baseball that much anymore. But if the Yankees lose, I go, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And I will say this, as a Rican, my fellow Ricans are basically all Yankee fan. Oh, I still hate them. F the Yankees. I've been a Bengals fan my whole life, but Zach A. Taylor has to go. Worst play calling ever. Oh, we're talking about that. I know Ace has a lot.
Dog, imagine being Joe Burrow. You look at that huddle. It's like you got Tyler Boyd in there. You got T. Higgins in there. You got Jamar Chase in there. You got yourself in there. And the play call comes in. We gonna do a double wide reverse throw to you. What? No. They're like, so no. Let's just run it. Let's just fade to Jamar. Just fade to Jamar. No. We gonna run a trick play to get the ball in the hands of somebody who does not throw the ball as well as you, to throw the ball to somebody who does not catch the ball as well as everybody else, because I'm smarter than everybody.
I would say I was surprised. So they basically went. We'll talk about it later. Bengals never won a Sunday Night Football. Steelers sweep Bengals.
I don't think that's true. I think they haven't won in the last 10 years or something. I don't know if never won.
When did the NBC get Sunday Night Football back? Was it 2004?
Sunday Night Football has always been a thing, but it's just they moved networks.
Yeah, it was ESPN for a while, right?
Yeah, it was ESPN. Yeah, when I was growing up, it was ESPN.
The Browns have never won the North. Is that true?
Not this since '99. No, it's never since it's been the North. No.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
we won the Central.
By the way, Q, did I hear right on your show that you want to fire the most winning playoff coach that the Browns have had in this iteration?
Oh, you talking about sad ass? What's his name? I forgot his
Andy
name.
Prefer.
Oh, Mike Prefer. Yeah,
Mike Prefer. You want to fire the winningest coach?
Man, if I see him tell another kick returner to return these damn kicks to the 17-yard line, so we can start off these offensive possessions 8 yards behind. Yeah, he needs to go. He's terrible.
Everybody wants to fire coaches around here.
Browns need
Ioannis.
Oh, from the Panthers.
Go tackle, I think.
Yeah.
Dog, we just need a body. Like, can Tony play D tackle? Like somebody, man. Like, I swear to God, anybody could be better than Tommy Togion right now. Like that I'm not even lying right there. Like, have you seen it? It's bad.
I mean, the Chargers got a record day in rushing, which they usually don't.
You know what they were doing? Man, if you ever see 50 over 93, we run that shit straight through the gap. Just straight through the gap. Okay. Easy money every time. And then the defense has the nerve to look at each other like they don't know what happened. You know exactly what happened. It's been happening all game for 2 weeks.
They're just that Browns defense plays on their heels so often. Like they're so. What's the opposite of aggressive? Timid, I guess you would say.
Well, after you get burned the first couple of weeks, yeah, I'm assuming that's how you.
Well, here's the problem. Don't nobody know what they're supposed to do anymore, right? They were blowing coverages left and right at the beginning of the year. Now it's run fits. Nobody's confident in what they're supposed to do. You watch the Bengals defense. That is a defense that is confident at least at where they're supposed to be at what time, and at least they're there in their spots. This is a defense where nobody has any confidence that they're supposed to be where they're at. So they're always second guessing themselves. So they're just going to be terrible, man. They're just going to be terrible.
I still shock you because this is a team that has been together, right? There's no
3 years.
I know, that's it. That's the thing that blows my mind. And you tell me, but they don't know where they're supposed to go. And I'm like, coach is the same, the unit is the same,
right?
Like, what is happening? Anyway, fire Kali Clausen.
Yeah, okay. His guys sent in a super chat to fire the assistant chief of staff and assistant wide receiver coach of the Browns. I'll listen to the name, and that's probably why he wants it fired.
Okay, Bengals fans talking about Ravens fan acting like they won the Super Bowl. Y'all had the audacity to talk about Super Bowl. How many y'all got? Damn. Okay.
I'll tell you what. I don't like it. I know that like everybody's going at each other in chat today. Again, everyone was real quiet on Wednesday's show. Like I called you guys out because I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. Like everybody's
they've been watching the whole year too. They knew what was about to happen. They had no faith that Zach Taylor was about to blow 525 again.
Right.
They know.
Right.
They know their biggest problem is their head coach. It's the dude on the sideline calling the plays. It's so much worse than last year.
I'm saying this for Ravens fans too. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this. This is not exclusive to Bengals fans. I'm saying this for Ravens fans too. Well, like Ravens fans were in chat getting all, we're going to crush them and whatever. Now that today,
everybody was pretty cautious.
We won on a last second field goal, and it's like, I mean.
Yeah, I think to be fair to my Ravens guys, because again, I'm here low key today, but we heard a lot of ish last year, so I'm gonna let them roll. As long as you guys don't cross any line, you have fun. Are the Browns ready to? I'm sorry. Are the Browns ready
Patriots
for the
fan again? I don't know.
Wait, no. He's not a Patriots fan. No,
that's
known as a Tom Brady.
He's a Patriot fan now. He's wherever the wind blows, man. Wherever he needs to be.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's Minka Fitzpatrick to NFL teams. Wherever the team needs him to be, he is. Like, you know what I mean? Some weeks he's linebacker, some weeks he's Patriots, some weeks
Sonny,
he's
we gotta time out
a guy. I'm trying. It's just moving quick. Remember, no spamming. No spamming. You're gonna get timeout. And then if you keep spamming, you get
another one.
Yeah, look at this. Everybody wants to get banned today. This is great. We're gonna have a lot of fights. Chat's about to get a lot quieter while you guys get timeouts.
Yeah, chill. Yeah, no. Again, you can control a little bit. There's lines, and obviously don't spam the chat. Anyway, let's go Ravens. I thought Doof should have gotten a game ball. What do you think? Yes.
Was that Doof or was that Debo? Because they was using
using him. They did use him more like Debo. I did actually put that in my video. Okay, let's get started. By the way, 24 minutes. I know we have always somebody that puts it in the comment section. Whoever you are, I love you. Thank you for doing that for the rest of the people watching this in the aftermath.
Shame on y'all for not liking the pregame banter.
Yeah, and first of all, we have been talking a lot about all the games. We've been it's a little sprinkle. Okay,
yes, that is true.
Look.
But let's talk
some
about
of the best bits come from that.
That's right.
True, but let's talk about the game. The marking. We need to start with the strong one. Let's talk about the Steelers. This game was LOL. I was watching this game, right? I'm vibing. I wasn't. We went to some place here in the UK, beautiful views, and we got right on time for the game. I'm like, yeah, perfect. Steelers games the one on TV, perfect. I don't even have to watch the replay later. Let me just watch this. And my wife said, "What do you think is gonna happen? Who you wanted to?" No, my girl's asking me. You want to win? I told you my dad is a Steelers fan, and I'm like, I guess Buffalo. And not that I really like Buffalo. And I said, I'm wishing for Bane. And they're like, who's Bane? I'm like, I guess that's a different story. Go ahead, Keith.
I got a follow-up question. Is it your dad that is a Steeler fan, like your birth dad, or is it your in-law dad that is a
no? My father.
I don't know which one would have been messier, but
my in-laws don't know anything about football. I can have that story another moment, but Anyway, so I told
Sonny
my
was a
daughter,
rebellious teenager, man. That's what that tells me.
no. Look, to be fair, I started watching football. My dad used to watch football, and when I became a Ravens fan, my dad one day tells me, "You know what? I like the Steelers." It's like, when? And he's like, "I always like the Steelers." Like, what? Where was this?
Oh, your dad's your number one hater.
Wow, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Oh,
anyway,
you like the Ravens? Well, as it turns out,
You like Ravens?
he roots for
I'm
the
a Joey
Ravens.
Porter man myself.
yeah.
You know, Bengals Steel. That my dad will be like Ravens Steel. Like he likes both.
That's wild.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but he doesn't have the constant rivalry. Anyway, so watching this game, I tell my daughters, but you know the Steelers, we don't never want Steelers to win, so let's go. And then they're like, you think it's gonna be close? Like, no, ain't gonna be close. And then first quarter ends, and I'm like, this game is over. This game is over. And
First
that's how
quarter ends and you thought it was over, or the first
over.
5 plays of the game
Well,
happened and you thought it was over?
that too. And then I see Deontay dropping balls, and that was it. The only thing I think Kenny at least is pushing the ball.
Yeah,
he's trying to push the ball. And if you're a Steelers fan and you're looking for a light at the end of the tunnel, you're like, at least this dude pushes the ball out. He has his issues still. The O-line also kind of the guy that's still. I don't want to say I'm right because he's still young. Najee. I never liked Najee, and Najee still doesn't convince me that he's a bell cow guy. Now, you know who had his start of the career like that was Henry over there, right? His first 2 years were very slow. They wanted to trade him, and then he took off, and the rest is history. So he might turn around. He's still young in his career. But I don't know, Tony. What do you think?
Oh, I thought Will Anderson looked great on Saturday against A&M. I mean, he was in the face of Haynes King all day. I cannot wait to watch him in black and gold. No, I like this Steelers game was a disaster. There was no other way to put it. It was as embarrassing. You know, what's that? You know the meme? What's the sign? It's like my expectations were low, but holy word we can't say here because we'll get demonetized.
Mm-hmm.
That was Steeler fans like right after this game ended. Holy cow. The first 5, like you guys said, I mean, the first 5 plays kind of defined everything that was going to happen, right? This wasn't a game where the Steelers were going to lead you on thinking, oh, well, maybe, we just have a chance. I mean, the game starts. So those of you who didn't see the first 5 plays of this one, I'll explain them. The first play is a kickoff. Now, swirling winds in this one, okay? Swirling winds, which we'll get to later because the swirling winds came into effect in a couple different ways. So the guy muffs it, right?
Feels good to have a kicker, Tony. Feels good to have a kicker.
No, it feels good. No, it feels good. No, I also feel good to have a kicker because my kicker missed on purpose, and I appreciate him because football justice. He gave Tomlin the double finger walking off as he missed him. Anyway, we'll get there. No, metaphor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say what?
No, he wouldn't do that.
No, okay. So the first 5 plays are the kickoff. It's muffed, and the guy he barely gets out of his own end zone. I mean, he's tackled at the 1 yard line. So, okay, start of a Tomlin game, this is how it starts. You know, maybe the Steelers can get a turnover here.
That was last year's Buffalo Steelers game.
Yeah, exactly. Blocked punt, defined that game. Yeah, exactly. This is this could easily turn out to be the start of a Tomlin game right here. And then they got him in 3rd and 10. So you're thinking, okay, well, even if you don't get a turnover here, you're at least going to get good field position. If Kenny can move the ball at all, you can at least get a field goal, maybe a touchdown, start out with a lead. And then 98 yards later, this game is 7-0, and Gabe Davis is off to the races. And that really defined the entire game because I think the Bills had 4 drives of 2 plays or more, or 2 plays or less, I should say.
That's crazy.
So that's the first 4 plays of the game, but it gets better. It gets better because the Steelers would then muff the kickoff after they got the ball. That was my boy James Pierre who was returning kicks. Anybody thinking to yourself, why is James Pierre returning kicks? Well, I was thinking the exact same thing because here's what happened. Remember our All-Pro that the Steelers signed in the offseason? All-Pro Gunnar Olszewski? Yeah, All-Pro. All-Pro meaning the best at his position. Yeah, he was signed in the offseason from the Patriots. Turns out he sucks. He's fumbled twice in 4 games. So they benched him, and they activated Steven Sims, who looked great in preseason returning kicks. So it was going to be very exciting to watch Steven Sims. Except, and this is a true story, Steven Sims got hit in the eye with a football before the game started and was basically blind, could not see before the game, right? Blurry vision in one eye. So he can't play, but they can't deactivate him.
But he can call plays for the Bengals.
That's a lot of truth to that. So they can't deactivate him because the inactive list is already in. So they just have to go with someone else. And they decide it's going to be James Pierre, which I don't understand. Because remember, I was at training camp for 3 weeks. 3 of the 4 weeks training camp, I was there. I watched every single practice. I watched the return line every single day. You know how many times I looked at my notes. You know how many times I wrote down that James Pierre was in the return line? 0 times. Zero times. I look back at his college because like maybe he was a return guy in college. No, he returned 3 kicks.
No, this is actually go back your code.
It's absurd.
Wait, was Gunner on the roster still?
No, he was inactive.
Oh, he was inactive. Oh.
He's inactive. Yeah. And they couldn't reactivate him because they'd already been the inactive list. So yeah, that was just. I mean, what an absurd start to the game. Like I said about this defense, I understand why they're worse because they're clearly dealing with injuries. You know, I mean, like
TJ Watt, man. TJ Watt is.
I can't be TJ. Look, you know, my brother kept telling me this on Sunday when we're watching the game.
Watt.
It's like if the difference between what we watched a month ago against the Bengals and what I just watched against Buffalo is TJ Watt, like that's a TJ Watt difference.
$100 million per year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't pay this. I mean, every single penny of that defensive salary should go straight to TJ Watt's bank account. I mean, there's no pass rush. The coverage was a disaster in this one. The first play. You know, it looks like Norwood thinks it's going to be a crosser, and so he tries to cut the route off, which leaves Levi Wallace in one-on-one. And you know anything about Levi Wallace, he's a 4'6" guy, so that's not going to work out. And it just, I don't know, it just got worse and worse. I mean, even Minka was horrible in this game. I know he's nursing a knee injury, but still, like he got lost by Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis literally I mean, Gabe Davis just man-moded him.
I thought Minka was stronger than that.
Yeah, I understand he has a knee injury, but like that's not a knee problem. That's I can't believe that happened. Yeah, I mean that was there. Yeah. I don't understand what happened to this defense. I'm not going to blame it all on injury because like who are the guys that are hurt right now? Akilo? The last time we saw Akilo with us when he was getting absolutely destroyed by
TJ,
Amari
man, it's
Cooper.
only TJ, I'm telling you.
And then the other guy that's hurt that people keep saying is Terrell Edmonds. Like Steeler fans have come full 180 on Terrell Edmonds because 2 years ago everyone would have been like, run this dude off the roster. In fact, in the offseason, they were like, sign someone else. It's got to be whatever. Every insert safety here needs to replace Terrell Edmonds. Now Edmonds is hurt, and it's like, oh well, that's why this whole defense is a disaster now. You would have thought that Mike Tomlin.
That might be.
Mike Tomlin, Brian Flores, and Terrell Austin. I mean, like just the brain trust there could take any 11 guys and like put together. Again, I'm not talking about like a great defense with the guys that they have right now. I understand that there's going to be a fall off, but Josh Allen had 340 yards and 31 points in this game. Sorry, not in this game.
In the first half.
In the 340 yards and 31 points in the first half was absurd. Yeah, and then we got to talk about Mike Tomlin because. You know, as much as I praise Mike Tomlin, holy cow, did he go as passive as you could possibly be with the game plan, both offensively and I mean, these sad field goals, man. This is like some of the most embarrassing stuff I've ever seen in my life. He kicked the field goal on 4th and 5, down 24-3 in the second quarter. We're kicking sad field goals in the second quarter.
I love this.
In the second quarter, anytime you can cut a 21-point lead to an 18-point lead, turn a 3-score game into a 3-score game. Well, you pretty much have to do it. And thank you, Boz, for missing. Thank you, Boz, for missing that field goal. And he did it again later. Yeah, that one he blamed on penalties. Oh, there's a penalty, so I didn't want to. He said, I need to be thoughtfully aggressive. They were down 31 at that point. So they were going to cut a 31-point lead to 28. Missed that field goal as well. Thank you, Boz, again for missing that one. I mean, like the Steelers, what do the Steelers have going for them right now? Coming out of this game, what are the things you feel good about with the Steelers? I feel good about 3 things today. I thought Kenny was good in this game. I thought Kenny was fine. I mean, we talked about it last week going in. This is like the worst possible situation you could put Kenny into.
Rookie. It's the other rookie.
George Pickens. George Pickens is the other thing you have to feel great about. Yeah, those two are good. George Pickens is good. Kenny Pickett is good enough so far. Although, again, I mean, at some point, the conversation about Kenny's going to change from, is he a bust? I think the answer to that question is most likely going to be no, although there's still more of that story to be written. But then it's like, okay, how good is he really, though? Then the third thing I feel good about coming out of this one, I feel better about the offensive line. And I understand that it's a low bar, but like, going into the season, this was supposed to be one of the worst offensive lines in the league. They're not the worst offensive line. They're probably closer to average than they are.
They're
worst.
Mid.
Yeah, exactly. They're mid. And boy, what a great thing to say about the Steelers offensive line, considering that coming into the year, this was the thing that was going to hold them back. They're not holding them back. Now, like you said, Sonny, Najee's probably hurt. I mean, I understand that it's probably his foot or his whatever. It's probably something like that because he has no burst whatsoever. But it's not. I mean, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't matter whether he's hurt or not. We can all see what's happening with Najee. He doesn't trust the offensive line to kick. Tries to kick everything outside. He has no burst whatsoever. And Jaylen Warren right now is just a better option for them.
Give me a quick second, Tony.
Yeah.
Ace, are you still there?
Yeah,
Ace needs to go out for a quick second. I want to get him his Buffalo take. Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep. Got to go grab my car, but I will be back. As far as the Pitt Buffalo game, I talked about the turnover margin being close between these teams. It was crazy to see that they both had the exact same thing: a fumble and an interception on both sides. This was the second time that the Steelers have finished with 0 sacks without T.J. Watt. That's an issue. I think, like Tony is saying, like, he can't be that big of a difference, but I think he is a huge factor, especially with how teams game plan against the Steelers to free up some of those other guys. So that's something to monitor, because I think before the last time that happened, it's not that that's like a frequent occurrence in Pittsburgh. That may be like some historic kind of proportions where they've gone with like 0 sacks. And that just happened again. The other thing is, I mean, this is what we kind of expected out of this game. I mean, I don't think anyone was shocked. Now, I didn't expect it to be 38-3 or anything like that, but I didn't expect this game to be close. Josh Allen almost had 5 touchdowns in this. And then Tony also mentioned, there were 2 touchdowns that they potentially could have had as well. I think the good thing that kind of came out of this, if you're looking for any good that came out of this, is that Kenny Pickett didn't have a complete meltdown or anything like that, right? They were able to get him some reps, do some things offensively. But I will say this is the first time the Steelers have lost 4 straight since 2013, right? And you could almost argue that they're possibly a blocked extra point away from 0-5. And so that team finished 8-8 and did not make the playoffs. I don't know how bad this team is going to finish, because you look on Twitter right now, Cam Hayward is retweeting people that are trashing Mike Tomlin, especially about what he's doing on defense. The one thing that I will say – No. The one thing that I will say, though, is Terrell Austin. When I talk to some Steelers fans in the offseason about Terrell Austin, I don't know how much of his imprint is on this. I know that it's probably shared with him, as well as the other defensive coach that came in from Miami. Yeah, but this is a Terrell Austin defense. He's going to give up a bunch of yards, but it's predicated on turnovers. Like, if you don't get those turnovers, then this is what kind of happens. But in their defense, I mean, Buffalo is just at a different level right now. So, I mean, I don't think anyone expected the Steelers to win this game, but it's kind of bringing the harsh reality of what they're in right now, which is uncharted territory for them with this QB struggle. But, like I said, I don't think the quarterback played that bad. They just didn't have a chance against Josh Allen in a hot offense with them being on the road. That's a tall task for anybody.
Yeah. As far as the Cam Hayward tweet, so boy, that retweet was rough, but he did claim now he's saying it was a butt retweet, which I mean, you got to click twice.
That too.
You got to click twice. I think more likely, if you see the tweet, and we can put it up if you want. I don't think it has any bad language.
I'll read it.
If you see the tweet, I think he read the second part of the tweet. He saw his name and read the second part of the tweet and didn't read the first part of the tweet, and that's what it was. But
did he deleted it?
Yeah.
He definitely unretweeted it. Yes. You need me to send it to you?
Yes, I can't stand Tomlin. He's a fraud and a clown that's been carried by Ben his entire career. However, Cam Hayward was running 30 yards downfield to make tackles that the linebackers wouldn't make. Shut up, Ryan. Now, I mean, like, look, man, even if you retweeted that for that second part,
I know
you can't retweet that, dog.
Yeah. And even the second part of that tweet is not good.
Like, we know the linebackers. Sorry, you can't let us know that you think that too.
Yeah, I mean, like, butt retweet. The more I think about it, okay, does he follow this guy? Why does he follow some random guy who's like trashing Tomlin?
The thread was Steelers Depot, right?
Yeah, so you would have to believe that he's on Depot's tweet. Thread. Yeah, he's on Depot's tweet. Then he somehow with his butt scrolls down to this tweet. His butt clicks it. His butt then clicks the retweet button, and then, by the way, you get an option when you it comes up with a pop-up, right? It's not just a one-click.
No,
it's a one-click thing.
Yeah,
on an iPhone it is.
Yeah,
because I get the option to quote tweet it or actually retweet it.
That's true. That's what it is. That's what
it
is.
I get the option.
Oh yeah, you do. Oh yeah, my goodness.
So you have to click twice. Sorry, dude. Like, you didn't butt retweet that. Yeah,
Mike
so like
Tomlin chewed out the
something
defense
bad
on
happened.
Monday, and he was mad. What time did that come out? Like 5 o'clock? Oh, he had
Yeah, that
just
was like
got
an
back
hour
from
ago.
work.
That was like an
Yeah,
hour
he
ago.
just got back from work. Mike Tomlin must have called
Yeah.
that defense everything but children of God, and then he was mad after practice. It was
Looks
like,
like I don't know when he retweeted it, but yep.
Yes, the Steelers never doubt the Steelers' ability to be dumbasses on social media.
on Twitter, the Steelers were a great franchise until social media became a prominent
It
fixture.
really is. It's not only the downfall of society, but in particular,
Just the Pittsburgh
just the
Steelers
Pittsburgh
specifically.
Steelers, yeah.
Like, you talk about the franchise, everyone's like, they just act the same and they just have this football. And then Twitter came out and it's just changed that. They've had so many Twitter controversies. The Facebook Live answer, you got so many social media controversies when you hit Facebook. Like, how you get a Facebook controversy? Facebook,
This one's
Twitter,
pretty bad. I mean, this one's pretty bad.
Instagram, TikTok. They've had all of the platforms. Like, if they had a Snapchat controversy pop up, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's true. Okay, so Tony, anything else about this game?
Yeah, it sucked, and I'm not rewatching it. So what you got there was my raw reaction to the original watch, because I guess I am going to go back and do the all 22 of the defense just to be like, what was
I don't know how helpful that's going to be.
No,
Yeah, I don't
you don't want to do it. Okay, Q, what do you thought about this game?
All right, man. I tried to rewatch this game legit. Like, I'm not even joking. I got to like the third quarter. I fell asleep and I almost missed the show because of it.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to give a fully detailed thing here. Look, the Bills are clearly a much better team than Pittsburgh. And I think Pittsburgh might be worse than what anybody anticipated right now. The TJ Watt thing is accelerating some things that I think would have happened regardless, right? I think him not being there, it clearly accelerates some things. But yeah, it's just a bad situation for them, right? Like, one, Buffalo, they're playing their best football right now. They're as good as they're going to be all year right now, I think. Like, they're playing their best football this season. And then Pittsburgh just happened to walk in there, and it's like, what do you expect them to do? Pittsburgh can't really score that well. I mean, that didn't change this week. I don't know why people thought that would change just because Kenny Pickett's in the game. Yeah, because like, even if you thought Kenny Pickett, like, he's not going to be the only thing that changes that whole situation. There's clearly a whole systematic issue above it, which is why you're going to give Kenny Pickett any excuse in the world, no matter what he does this year, right? Like, that whole element of it. So I don't know why we thought he was going to rise above all of it and change it. And defensively, like, they got one dog, but they got a bunch of puppies on that team. Like, it just is what it is. Like, Minka's there, but you got a bunch of guys who are all right. Like, and when you play the Bills, this is gonna get torn apart. They're just not that good of a team right now. Like, they got beat badly, but this is what happens to bad teams on the road when they play against good teams playing their best football. I mean, I've seen this game a million times as a Browns fan, especially in some of the eras in which we were just straight awful, right? They're not that bad, but they are certainly a top 10 pick waiting to happen.
Top five. Let's make it 5.
I'm gonna make sure that body is in the ground and buried before I dance on it. You know what I mean? Got to have a grave to dance on before you dance on it. But yeah, they're just not that good, man. I think we recognize this when the only reason we're not ready to just announce it is because Mike Tomlin's there, right? Like, just because he's there, we're like, I don't know. But we're basically not calling the Steelers what they are based on reputation alone. And I'm okay with that. But they know what they are. They watch it every Sunday. It's not a good
Yeah, this is a bottom 5 team. I mean, this is one of the worst teams in the league.
I mean, two teams have lost to the Browns so far, and it's the Panthers and it's the Steelers. There's no coincidence there that both those teams are within the top 10 of draft picks right now.
Yeah, and the Browns were Steelers were the only comfortable win for the Browns too.
I would have put the Texans there, but they just showed up.
The Texans are terrible too.
No, the Texans are a bottom 5 team too, but I mean, there's 5 bottom 5 teams.
Yeah.
The Steelers are one of them. Lions, right? You can put the Lions down there. Texans,
scrappy
Panthers,
Lions,
Steelers, and then they're 15. But
the Lions play with heart.
Who do the Steelers beat? I mean, how many games are they going to be favorites against? They're going to be favorites on the road to Atlanta. They can be favorites on the road to Indy.
They're not going to be favorites against Atlanta.
No way. Yeah, no way they are. No way. I mean, look, this team.
Maybe when they play Carolina at home.
They play Carolina
on the road. Wait,
I don't remember if it's in
They'll beat
Carolina.
no, I think it's in Pittsburgh. I think it's in. No,
It-
no,
I mean,
no.
they'll be. Yeah, I think that's
They'll
the only
beat
game that they should win. That's the only game left in their
If
schedule.
Baker plays, I know one thing about Baker Mayfield, and I know one thing about the Steelers, that they're going to win.
Oh, I also, I think they could beat the Bengals again, but we'll talk about that.
Ooh, okay.
I just
Let
think
me
it's
ask
too
you-
easy to beat the Bengals right now. It's too easy to beat the Bengals right now. It's just like
Okay.
a 12-year-old could beat the Bengals right now. Just spam cover two, cover two, cover two, cover two, cover
Michael
two.
Lewis-
Yeah.
Michael Lewis says, never give the other team the ball back with 3 timeouts. Hey, we didn't use any timeouts. I don't know what to talk about. Could have been 0 timeouts. Hey,
I like that.
They should have knew what was going to happen when they gave that ball back. Like, come on, man. Come on, this is-
They scored too quick. I did think they should kneel on it. I was like, you need to run some clock here or something.
Yeah, but then you saw how terrible they were executed in the red zone earlier in this game. You're like, man, they might turn it over trying to.
I will say this because somebody told me this, and I said, but during the game, I said they can't because we had 3 timeouts. So kneel. If you want to go 4th and goal, because we're gonna.
Oh, that's right. You know what I thought was going to happen because the Ravens were getting called for so many penalties. I thought there was going to be like a defensive holding or something, or some kind of free play that extended the drive, and then they wouldn't have enough timeout. That was what I thought.
Yeah, and that drive, the Ravens got called a ton.
No, they got called on every drive. I mean,
no, it was that drive specifically. The other drives, there were some penalties, but not as much. Some of the penalties, I was like, ooh, and
how many penalties? How many third downs or how many first downs did they get from penalties in this game? The Bengals. Does anybody have that number?
Like 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
Hit that like button. Thank you, Caleb. Appreciate that. That was clutch. Please hit that like button. It's a way to help us.
If you're ready to hit, if you want to fire a coach on your team, hit the like button right now and show us how much you want to fire a coach.
I wonder if like Eagle fans want to fire their coach. Like it's so common, you know what I mean?
I think when you're winning, you're good, but when you're
have
a losing record,
I don't know. Even when teams win, they be like, I don't know, we still getting held back by defensive performances. We need to.
I mean, Greg Roman should be fired. Don't get me wrong, but
it's got to be tough to be a Raven fan. See Wink out here just living his best life, and you just sitting here just struggling on defense. Like,
okay, we'll talk about that.
Their defense was good this week.
We'll talk about that. I wanted to skip this one, but I'm here to support Ace. Ace is still Houday. By the way, Ace is coming back. He should be here at any moment. Congrats, Sonny. Appreciate that, man. You see cordial. Appreciate that.
Bring the chain out, Sonny. Come on.
No. See, we made this mistake when we did the spaces where we were like, "Oh, there's not enough trash talk going around," and then we invited Thanos into the chat, and then what happened? We never talked about football again after that minute. So we good right here.
But I will say this before I read the super chat out. There you go, PQ showing Wilson how to intercept the ball. Love seeing Gabe Davis break out as a UCF fan.
By the way, Tony, man, I told you might get a New Orleans Saints situation over there, and that's exactly what happened when you went to that UCF game. Then they beat.
No. I'm not talking about the UCF game. No. That's a third rail topic. Q. The parking situation during that game is probably the worst I've ever experienced in my entire life. We didn't go to the game. We had tickets.
What?
Oh, no, we didn't go. Oh, no. Like they funnel you. So we were like, okay,
was it worse than when we went to the pay-per-view down there?
That was way worse.
Wow.
I actually didn't have it. So I was, it's funny. I was telling my wife that it's like, when I went here with Q, it was like 20,000 people or whatever. And, it was fine. Like I didn't have a ton of trouble parking. This one, we literally could not park. They funnel you to these parking garages that are closed because the campus is still open. They still have class that night. So they're like it's an hour and a half traffic just to get to a garage. And like, no, this is a special garage. You gotta have a special pass for this. You gotta go this way. So we went around. No, this is a special garage. You gotta have We're like, where can we actually park? And finally we got all the way back to the front where there's no parking. It's like, okay, well, we can park here and get like a Uber over. But by that point, it was in the second quarter. It was like, let's just go home. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Damn, man.
It sucked. Oh, it's the worst.
Q.
I saw a pretty good Georgia Southern game this week. It was
nice. How was parking?
I didn't park. I didn't drive down there. I took the train.
Yeah, smart.
I've learned my lesson trying to go to all these football games.
I would like to confess my sins one a week. First, I own a thing.
Oh, dangerous
Yeah,
with
When
the
did you
six.
buy that Danger Six head, man? I just that's I can forgive it if it wasn't but if you bought that Danger Six headband after the labrum, I don't know if I could forgive that.
Yeah.
Like
As long as it's within the 2020 season,
yeah,
that's
like
okay.
it's like owning a Jay Cutler jersey. If you own a Jay Cutler like Bears jersey, okay. If you own a Jay Cutler Dolphins jersey, nah, dog. There's no.
He was in the. I forgot that he was in the Miami.
Yeah, remember we went viral because they ran that trick play where he was supposed to be a wide receiver and that man just stood there like he was smoking a cigarette.
That's right. Jay Cutler was the worst. Like his demeanor. Anyway, who will have tough? Who would thought the NFC East is the toughest? Look, NFC East is balling right now. I'm not.
No, third place got one loss.
Yeah.
We was making all them jokes.
And they have Cooper Rush.
The North. Yeah. Cooper Rush out
Actually,
there.
Technically,
balling.
the Giants are third because their only loss is to the Cowboys, right?
Mm-hmm. Daniel Jones out here.
Yeah.
Got one loss. And then Jalen Hurts. Nobody saw this coming. Who's in last place? What? Carson Wentz, the one quarterback from that division.
Yeah, that one was obvious.
For a good reason. But that was pretty predictable. To everybody except for the idiot who just traded 2 third-round picks for him.
By the way, Daniel Jones, eliminated.
Tony went down week 1 and then again. Q, who you picked this week?
I forgot to pick. So I'm eliminated.
I thought you.
The eliminator scarred me, man. After that whole Bengals Chiefs fiasco, I'm not doing that to myself again. Nah, man. They hurt me too much. Nah.
For real, this man here says, by the way, Sonny, we Boricuas gotta support Roberto Clemente's Pirates. We ain't no Yankees. Hey, I will support Roberto Clemente's Pirates if they were good. Although I support the Orioles, where they're not great. Okay. With that, Tony, let's play some Bills.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, football is back, baby. We're back to seeing Mahomes sling beautiful balls all over the field, and your friends at Manscaped are here to help you sling your beautiful balls all season long. With Manscaped state-of-the-art tech, we'll have your weapon looking more loaded than the NFC East. Football may be rough, but your ball care doesn't have to be with Manscaped. Join the 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping, but you got to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word. Meet the best value bundle for Manscaped's Pocket Rockets, the Platinum Package. At quarterback, the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, a wily vet who makes sure the unit is running smooth and scoring nonstop. With proprietary advanced skin-safe technology, the Lawnmower limits mistakes and protects the ball. At running back, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer built to bust through all the right holes. On the offensive line, we have our unsung heroes, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, the Trent Williams and Corey Lindsley of Sack Protection. At wideout, the cleanest duo in the league, the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner. With their rugged scent, they attract both the ball and all the ladies in the crowd. At tight end, the product that makes your end look tight. Manscaped's anti-chafing boxer briefs, a dedicated jewel pouch to increase ball handling, and a cool, steady vibe thanks to their moisture-wicking fabric. On defense, there's only one thing you need, the aluminum-free ultra-premium deodorant. With refined cologne-quality fragrance, it keeps sweat and locker room scents from making any ground. Plus, it dries clear, so the opponent won't even know what hit him. To top it all off, we throw in the best coach in the league, the Shed Travel Bag, as a free bonus. Built to hold the team together, this travel-size bag has a fumble-resistant zipper. This has got to be a Super Bowl winning roster, but don't take my word for it. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping, but you got to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
By the way, it's in the discussion in the bottom. Thank you to Manscaped for supporting this show. They have been with us for a while now. We appreciate their products are fantastic. So go check their products.
It's been a year now. Yeah, it's been a year with them. So shout out to Manscaped.
They are a lead product. Okay, with that, look, I was watching I said that I was watching this Tuesday, and to be fair, I didn't watch the game. Didn't watch it because CBS said, by the way, you're watching this boring ass game. Let's put you in a more competitive game, right? So they cut to the
When did they do that? Like the second quarter?
No, they waited all the way to like end of third, I think.
Once they saw Case Keenum was coming, and they're like, all right, well, we better get out of here.
It was a little before Case Keenum. It was a little before Case Keenum.
Goddamn, Case Keenum played.
Yeah. Case Keenum played. Anyway, so then they put the Browns game, and I'm watching, right, competitive game, and Jacoby Brissette playing well, and the running game for both teams is going crazy. I tell them why this game is going so fast. Look at all this running, rushing, blah blah blah. And then Jacoby Brissette makes a bad throw, right? I mean, that he didn't see the linebacker flash. It was a bad throw. Got it. And Tony said something to me. He's like, Sonny, Jacoby Brissette is good until the game is on the line. Okay, fair. But that's not what I want to talk about here.
What do you want to talk about, Sonny? You want to have a fourth down decision discourse?
I am so out with the whole analytics right now.
Brandon Staley.
You get this, dude. Look,
analytics say go for it.
Yes. I'm trying. So I hated the third down call because if you're gonna throw it to try to make a first down and just basically burn the clock, third down, I would have look in that. Okay, you leave a timeout for the Browns, fine, but you do that. Now you ran it because you wanted to burn the clock more, right? So you go in here. You're burning the clock. You put a timeout, 4th and 2 from the 50 or 48, right? Or something like that. And I see that they're going to go for it. And I'm like, they're probably going to draw them outside. And if not, they're going to just take their losses with the 5-yard penalty and kick it. They're going for it. And I'm here baffled. Even if they make it, I'm like what? Like, what am I watching? Is this real life? Am I watching a simulation, right? And they don't make it, right? And I'm like, you know what? I hate the Browns, right? I don't want the Browns to win, but God damn it, Chargers. What are you doing? You just might as well tell them win the game. Obviously, the Browns they couldn't move the ball much after that. And in York, I was telling Tony, York gave you a game, and York couldn't deliver this game, right? I'm not putting it on the rookie, on the kicker.
No, put it on him.
But I thought about you, Q, because I was like, the kicker had to be the kicker. But
that's why I don't ever want to leave it up to the kicker because you can't trust these dudes. Like you just they're shaky under pressure.
But again, why will you go there on 4th and 2? Basically, put them in a field goal range, right? The Browns had to go because it wasn't K York's range, right? The range was the problem. He missed, but it wasn't the range here. I was like, what? And obviously the Browns
they were getting 2 yards like pennies in a couch against us the whole game. Like I understood why you might I just thought it was the risk and reward were way off for that, right? Like that's my thing about it. Like, was it likely that you could have gotten it? I think it was likely. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't want them to go for it because I was scared we wasn't gonna be able to stop it. And the Chiefs did do this to us. So Andy Reid has done this and it did work, right? And I think he was even on his own 20. So it was even more egregious in a playoff game down 6. So, it varies on when you can do it. But my thing was that was what you go call. You just go throw a ball up to Mike Williams. Like everything that happened in that game. Austin Eckler could not be stopped for 5 yards. Like it was like a rule in this game. He must not be tackled until he gets 3 yards in this game. And then that's how you roll with it. Like I would have just threw it to the flat and be like, hey man, let me see if they could tackle because they ain't tackled all day. But I couldn't believe that Brandon Staley put us in position like that.
I thought the game was over. I was like,
I thought we got bailed out.
Yeah,
really did.
Because the same is true on the other side, right? Shep was running like a madman. He had a really good game. I was like, yeah, they're going to just
Brandon Staley and Kevin Stefanski should be on the same coaching staff because they would make some decisions. They would make some decisions that would make people's brains explode. It would be the most intellectual, advanced, and also frustrating football teams you have ever seen in your life because they're just the offensive and defensive versions of each other.
Dude,
it was exciting. The 4th down decisions in this game were awesome. I loved every single one. They were all right to go for it. Every single one was right to go for it. I especially liked, I believe it was the Browns who went for it at their own 20 and didn't get it.
At the beginning of the game.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, like very early on in the game.
And it just didn't go with the sneak. You know what I mean? Like the most reliable player, like, nah, fullback dive, halfback dive. We'll go run this.
Yeah, no, it was the beginning. I think it was the beginning of the third quarter. Beginning of the third quarter. Yeah, they went for
it.
It
Was like
their
one of the
own
first
30.
drives at the kickoffs.
Their own 30. They went for it, and didn't get it. Kareem Hunt stopped in the backfield. But I love that decision. That was the right decision to go for it.
It wasn't.
It was 4th and 1. You have a
I don't
dominant
mind that.
offense.
I just wish they would have caught a QB sneak. Like, I will run it until
They
they
said it's a big guy too, right? So for sneak, he's perfect.
Yeah, and it's like I get it. You don't want to do it all the time because it becomes predictable. But I will.
It's hard to stop a sneak.
I will wait until you stop it for me to start worrying about how you gonna stop it. Like I'm gonna just wait till you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
But Sonny, I'll push back on your analytics thing like this. Here's how what is the percentage chance that you think that they're going to get 1 yard, right? This is what Brandon Staley has to do in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
What is the percentage chance that I can get 1 yard against this defense versus what is the percentage chance that when I punt it here, that my defense is going to be able to stop them from going X number of yards, right? Whether it's 40 or whatever they need.
Well, my Browns, it was 1 minute left with no timeouts.
Yeah, right. They had no timeouts at that moment.
Yeah,
what is the percentage chance? That can't really move the ball unless they get the run game going.
Exactly. Yeah, so the running game, you're not gonna use it as much because if you punt and you're down on your third,
and you got Derwin James and like 7 DBs that you like to rotate in and out.
Yeah,
I don't know what went into that decision. Like that's my thing. Is like the content. Like I don't disagree with it on principle. I disagree with the context of the situation. You're down 1, the ball's at the 50. You're going up against somebody who at that point you did not like. K York hadn't made a 63-yard field goal to win a game before, right? So you're going up with somebody you know has the range to make that dangerous. And then there's the context of you're literally built defensively to not let a team like the Browns get 20-yard chunks on you in that situation. So like I get in theory why that might be a good idea, but the context of that situation just didn't warrant it. You would have punted that ball. We wouldn't even be talking about a K York missed field goal. We talking about probably Jacoby Brissette throwing another interception on the last game winning drive.
Yeah, Tony. As soon as that happened, right? I think
that happened one
when that 4th and 2 that was converted. I think
it almost happened on that drive. On the field goal drive, he almost threw an interception.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He was going to throw an interception if that drive had to be any longer than it was.
Yeah, weren't you guys like 6 yards from field goal range as soon as they turned it over?
We were literally 6 yards. Like we threw one pass to Amari Cooper and got into field goal range.
Yeah, so now, Tony, I couldn't.
And you're down 1, like if down 3, up 3. Well, you're up 1, up 3, up 6, maybe. Like you say, hey, they can't score a touchdown, but down 1 when a field goal can beat you, that's crazy balls to me. Like that's
if you want to know
what it's supposed to be good.
What would you say the percentage chance of the Chargers making it there was before the play happened?
That 4th and 2.
Like what was
I thought the Browns were better in those situations than they were like on like 1st and 2nd down, because that's really where the problem is for this defense. So I think it was probably like a 50-50 chance that they got.
You think so? See, I would have said it was like I bet Brandon Staley was like, no, this is like 75-80% chance we make this.
Well, the only reason I say that though is because when they were in the red zone, they had like 3 different red zone drives where they got down there and then got stopped on 3 drives in the goal line before that happened. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like when they needed that, like to get the stop, they were all right defensively. It's just like on 1st and 2nd down, this defense falls asleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprised they ran stick there, by the way. It was a stupid
play. That was weird.
Yeah, it was a stupid play call, but
okay. With that,
I was like, they're gonna do something like where Justin Herbert can hold the ball and like run it or something like that. Like that's what I thought.
I'm gonna leave it to you, Q, to let us know about this game.
Oh, the Browns defense is just not good. And like the Browns offense is pretty good, but like they're not a great offense. They're not an elite offense, right? If this is Deshaun Watson, you might be able to get away with how pathetic the defense is performing because you would have an elite offense that can put up 40 to 40 points on a given day. But this Browns offense, like whenever they get to 28 points, you can just see the scene, like the smoke blowing from the engine that is this Browns offense, because we're just asking way too much of it. We're asking Jacoby Brissette to go out here and make scramble plays and score 3 touchdowns in a game. Like that's never what was the agreement for this team to be successful in this period. You needed a better performance defensively to get to where you needed to. And the fact is they're not just not good. They're not just mediocre. They're one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. Like, they're terrible. I mean, there's no other indictment that speaks louder than Andrew Berry trading for a linebacker to start next week on the Sunday that the game ended. Like, that is what it is. This is a bad defense. The offense is pretty good. They're a pretty average team right now. You know, they look pretty 500. You know what I mean? Right now, this looks like a 500 team. This like, we joke about Pittsburgh might win. This is what an 8-win team looks like. Sometimes, you know, they can hang in there against some teams and they can almost win a lot of games, but, you know, a lot of teams are 500 because they almost won some games. There's never been a 500 team in history that's not like, we should have won 10. We should have won 11. This is going to be one of those teams if they don't get a better performance defensively. Offensively, yeah, they're a pretty good team, man. Nick Chubb's really good. Kareem Hunt, he was all right in this game. By the way, Tony, your Nick Chubb over Kareem Hunt argument is going to hell.
Yeah, it's not having a great year, but again, it's a long year. We're only 5 games in. It's a long season. It's a long season. It's a long season.
But your David Njoku love has been paying off a little bit.
No, that one, yeah, that one.
On
never give up. Never give up on him.
Yeah, he might be in the neighborhood.
Oh, okay, don't. It's not. It's not a neighborhood. It's not a neighborhood.
That's Ace. That was perfect cue for Ace.
Yeah, David Njoku, he's looking. He got the money. He's looking. He's browsing that pamphlet. He might be in that neighborhood, son. He might be in the neighborhood now. You know, it took him a while to get there, but he might be ready to get his little condo out there.
He's like in the same city, but he's like in the.
I mean, look. He in an apartment right now. But, you know, he's browsing. He's browsing. Yeah, he's thinking about where he wants to go next, and it might be Travis Kelce's neighborhood. So
yeah, we'll see. He might rent. He might rent for a little bit.
I love how the whole tight end conversation is like who gets to be close in proximity to Travis Kelce, because he's clearly
whoever gets to live in Travis Kelce's cul-de-sac there.
Yeah, but yeah, Amari Cooper was pretty good throughout this game. Donovan Peoples-Jones strong. Look, Jacoby Brissette, they're asking way too much out of him. When you push this Jacoby Brissette thing too far, it's gonna explode in your face because he's Jacoby Brissette at the end of the day. Yeah, should he have just scrambled and scored the touchdown there? Absolutely. Well, he just made a 30-yard scramble to save the drive, and now we're like, hey, Jacoby, be Deshaun Watson. We're asking him to do what Deshaun Watson would do, which is literally save the game because we're too pathetic on the other side to do anything about their defense. Like, you know, but yeah, that was a terrible interception. But if you put Jacoby Brissett out there enough, the book's out on him, he will do something like that. That's why he's not a starter in the NFL. And then well, what else is going on with let's talk about Jacob Phillips. Sione Taki and JOK. Let JOK ain't exempt from this either, man. They were all terrible. I mean, goodness gracious. It looked like junior varsity football. Just nobody knew where to be. The gaps, like, we're just running basic 4-3, man. Base 4-3. The gaps are exactly where you think they are. A, B, and C. Literally 3 lines. A, B, C. This is where you need to be. That's it. That's the gaps. We got 2 dudes in B gap. We got 3 guys in A. With that one play where the backup running back scored on that little outside zone play, and nobody was out there because Denzel Ward was like, nah, this man, I'm gonna stick on my tight end. As he's actively blocking one of my teammates, I'm still gonna guard him as if this is a pass play. That's just I don't know, man. I don't know. And so you can say the coach needs to be fired. Obviously, the whole defense needs to be fired. Like, we could blame Joe Woods. We could blame the players. They all suck. They're not good. Joe Woods can go. I don't care. We're not missing out on anything. It's 3 years. This is what the defense been looking like. He's not good either. He can get fired. The JOK, he could get fired right now because he's all over the place. And it was fine when Anthony Walker was out there because at least A-Walk would be in his spot. But now we got 3 dudes out here freestyling the gaps. Like, we just don't know. It's like having 3 Jamie Collins out there, and there's 1 guy talented enough to do the Jamie Collins thing, man. Like, it's literally what's going on, which is this people like, At the play, I'm about to be in the B gap. Oh, you about to be down there too? Let's go. Squad up. 3 deep in the B gap. Yeah. Oh, by the way, let me just blow my leverage right here. You know, we got Tommy Togiai blowing leverage. We got Perry Allen Winfrey 5 yards upfield, 5 yards downfield. Don't know where the hell to be. We don't got anything competent going on between those 2 defensive tackles and the 3 linebackers. We got 5 players out here just playing completely incompetent football. And if you think I'm overreacting, the Chargers had 236 yards rushing. They haven't had 200 yards rushing total since 2020. 2020, y'all. 2020. 2020.
And they
Joe
were
Burrow's
one of the
rookie year.
rushings coming to this game.
They were 30th.
Yeah.
They were 30th. 30th.
They did get Corey Linsley back in this game. That was a big for them. That was big.
What?
Corey Linsley played in this game. He hadn't played all year, but
yeah, okay. Well, Corey Linsley ain't God, and that's what it would take.
Yeah.
I
mean, it wasn't. This wasn't Corey Linsley. They weren't a Corey Linsley away from this. They were a Corey Linsley plus playing the Browns away from doing.
They were a Tommy Togiai away from being one of the greatest rushing teams in football. Exactly. Like honestly, it looked like one of them. It looked like when you walk into Walmart and the door just opens up. That's the offensive line when the Browns play the run. That shit, you just step in the gap. Woof. Hey, go on through. Welcome to Walmart. They got the welcome to Walmart defense out here. This is what they're running right here. Jacob Phillips does not tackle a single soul. Who else is out there now? Sione Takitaki missed like 18 tackles. Like, I don't know if they chart missed tackles, but every play I'm seeing 44. Oh, he there. Nope. Every screen, he there. No. Oh, see him, he gonna talk. No tackle. No tackle for Sione Takitaki. JOK, he ain't made a tackle since he was in Notre Dame. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. He was good last year. He over here. The one play that Austin Eckler got 70 yards, I was screaming at JOK before that even happened because I saw him do that shit. I knew what he was about to do, and I knew how it was going to get exploited because he was like, all right, I'm about to get this play action boot. They're going to roll right, and I'm about to scrape the edge and be an edge rusher and blow the play up. LOL. They just checked. They saw you do that and go, okay, we're just going to run it. We're just going to run it right where he vacated. Did he think we didn't see him? Did he think we didn't see him? Ran it right through the gap. And lo and behold, nobody's there because that was supposed to be JOK. Like, come on, man. How many of these mistakes do I have to watch? I've been saying this for 5 weeks. This defense is just doing dumb shit. We plug one hole, another hole pops up, right? Oh, the secondary, that's the problem. We need to get communication down pat. Communication seemed fine in the secondary. We didn't blow up a big play. Congratulations. But the run game said, hey, man, linebackers can miscommunicate the play call, even though we're the ones that give it. We can mess it up too. Let's just abandon gaps. Let's just let things go through. Yeah, we're in hell right now. This defense is terrible. This is like shocking to me because I thought this defense would be actually good. But nope. Anthony Walker, apparently. That was it. Anthony Walker going down, bro.
Terrell Edmonds of the Browns defense. Yeah.
He was the glue that held a defense with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward in it. He's the glue. I can't believe it. And Myles Garrett, like, apparently he played well. He didn't get a sack, but like they were just running away from him all game. Clowney was okay. But when you're this bad and they're setting their edges so wide, like we're playing wide 9 right now. Imagine having the Browns personnel at defensive tackle and saying to yourself, we're going to run a wide 9. Yeah. Does that make any sense to you?
It's not good.
What are you doing? You think you have the bodies to run a wide 9? As little space as possible. Like, we're just creating lanes. What are we doing, man?
That's why you have the Walmart.
Well, you could run wide 9 if you had better linebackers to fill, but you don't.
We don't have any of it. Yeah. We don't got anything this wide 9 needs except for 2 edges. Like, that's it. What are we thinking running wide 9 right now? This is why Joe Woods needs to be fired because what? You're running like this is the stuff that people. Oh, he's in zone. He's in man. He needs to get fired. No, he's running wide 9 with the worst defensive tackles in football, and he won't get out of it. He won't get out. If I see Myles Garrett lined up to the outside shoulder of a tight end one more time, I don't care how much you think it's going to help him beat a double team. It doesn't matter if he's 10 yards away from the quarterback to start the play. He's not going to get there in 2 seconds. Like just it's like you feel one dumb thing, they just pop another dumb thing up, and I have lost faith in it. I used to believe that this defense, I just want them to be serviceable. If they can be serviceable, fine. But at this point, my expectations are of a terrible defense. I'm just glad they got off the field in 4th and 2. I can't expect more than that. Honest to God, did you expect more than that? At home on 4th and 2, did you? I'm just happy they did that. And then we got K. York. Yeah, I ain't forget about you. I ain't forget about you. Yeah, you thought you got free because of the defense. You thought because the defense was sorry. Oh yeah, nobody gonna remember that you smoked 2 kicks. And the excuses for this kid are incredible. People have told me, Quincy, we can't put K. York in that situation and expect him to come through. My guy, we can't put the kicker in a situation to kick the goddamn ball and expect him to do his job. What are you talking about? We can't put K. York in that situation. It wasn't a 65-yarder. It was a 54-yarder. And the one before it was 45 yards. And you know what? You can tell me, oh, we should have got closer. We should have got closer. Did you watch how mad he smoked both of those field goals? That wasn't him not kicking the ball well or him not having enough leg to get the field goal. That was him getting the lemon booty and kicking something to boof. Whatever happened, there was no pressure on both of those kicks. Nobody was in his face. Nobody even attempted to block the kick. The snap was good. The ball placement was good. And he just got the lemon booty and 2020 Tiger Woods that thing. Like, it was just bad, man. I'm worried about the lemon booty. I'm worried about the lemon booty, man, because look, missed field goal, extra point at the end of the game in the Jets. Mm-hmm. Those 2 kicks at the end of the period. He might have lemon booty, man. And I can't live with no kicker that got lemon booty. And when you got the kicker with the range.
Here's the thing, Q, you're making too much out of this because it's not, look, they took him in the 4th round. It's not like, in the 4th round taking
that's high for a kicker.
This is Andrew Berry we're talking about. He hasn't cut a single draft pick.
It's not like if they had taken a D lineman there or a linebacker there, it really would have helped this team in any way. Like,
it's not. No, I'm not mad at the draft pick. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying cut K. York. I'm just saying if he's the kicker of the team, he got to make one of them field goals. That's it. One of them. If this were a kicker off the street, we would have an expectation that they would have made one of those field goals. Okay, just one of the field goals, right? I think that's a fair expectation to have for a starting kicker in the NFL. The Chargers kicker made field goals. He never kicked a field goal in the NFL before that. Why can't he make one? That's all I'm saying.
You can
make one.
You can draw a straight line between Evan McPherson being great last year and the struggles the Browns are having this year. Like, you can draw.
I hope it's hilarious. I honestly do hope this episode of AFC North Talk is absolutely hilarious in 3 months. I would love nothing more for that. I really would. If we get the Super Bowl, be dancing, having a good time, and hopefully, we don't get sacked and lose it. But right now, it's dark as hell. No, man, I'm not about to hold out hope, talk about this happened with Zach McPherson, so it's obviously going to happen to K. York.
No. I'm saying you can draw a straight line between Zach McPherson being so good and the Browns feeling like, well, we have to upgrade, and that leading to them taking a player in the 4th round that they probably shouldn't take, because taking kickers in the 4th round, as we've always said, is a bad pick. And yes, the Bengals happen to get a good one, but most
of the good kickers are undrafted free agents. In NFL.
Yeah, well then because it's an impossible position to scout.
Because it's a carousel. We can't scout it. We keep acting like we can scout it. We can't scout it. It's a carousel, dog. Just rotate them in and out. But no, nobody wants to listen to Q. Q, you got to scout a good one. That's how you find a good kicker.
When he missed that second one, it was like a hashtag Q was right situation. Like, this was
lemon booty. You can't predict lemon booty. You can't predict lemon booty. There's no scouting lemon booty in the NFL. You can't predict it. It is different in the NFL. The kicker gets more scorned. Like, it's just, you can't predict that. And that man folded under pressure. He was right there. He just kicked that thing. He kicked it. He had enough distance. He almost kicked that thing into the tunnel. Yeah, it was impressive. He kicked that thing like 80 yards to the right. But it was just, well, what more can I say? The Browns had multiple, like, it was like watching two teams. It was like watching that Texas A&M Alabama game in the NFL. Hey, man, you want to win this game? No. You want to win this game? No, nobody wanted to win this game. The Chargers tried to give it to us. We tried to give it back. Like, if that game lasted for 5 more minutes, it would have been a tie. It was what it was. Just awful. And you could point your finger at everybody on why you lost that game. But that's it, man. Just pathetic. Special teams and defense, especially. Like, I can't get mad at the offense because I didn't expect them to keep up in the game like this with the Chargers. And honestly, they did what they were supposed to do, which is limit the possessions, score on a lot of these plays. They scored on like 6 possessions. I can't be mad at them for that. But well, they almost scored on 6 possessions. They had a couple of smoked opportunities. But nonetheless, defense and special teams, man, it's been bad, dog. Like, you can blame like all the losses on defense and special teams so far, and just historically awful performances in historically like shocking times for this to happen. It's just a disaster. It's bad. Deshaun could come back and look, he might be good enough to make this offense elite and erase some of these problems. But if you think you're gonna get through 4 playoff games and get to the Super Bowl when the defense is this bad, that does not happen. Okay, that just does not happen. You're not gonna play 4 consistent good games with the defense this bad. So they got to fix it, man. And I don't know what the solution is because there's so many holes that got to get fixed. I feel like we ain't gonna fix this until a new person steps up and becomes the defensive coordinator next offseason.
Okay, before I go with you guys, we have a couple super chats here from Tata. Says Brown making it real hard to finish a sober
Finish, bro.
Dog.
It just started.
Dog.
Like a week and a half in, dude.
I was thinking about this. Like 3 of the Browns games have been historically shocking endings. Like, it's what the 65-yard field goal to walk off the Carolina game to win that one, and then there was the 13-point collapse, and then there was the Brandon Staley like, hey man, I don't want this game. Let's see what you can do with it at the 50-yard line. Like, just unbelievable endings to this game. Like, I don't know of a season that's had this many crazy endings like this early.
And Luis says, Q, do you think the Brown season is close to be over? I think we can beat the Pats. Division game are 50-50. Bills and Bucks seem tough.
Oh, we're not beating the Bills. We're not beating the Bills. Like, let me just put that. We are absolutely not beating the Bills. But yeah, I think the Bucks maybe as Tom Brady again, like Jacoby Brissette. I just think that would be kind of shocking. But yeah, I mean, they have a chance. Like, they could beat the Bengals. The Bengals do a lot of the things that the Browns can do well against. Even though the Bengals, they finally seem like they got the run game together. And where the Browns look on Sunday, Joe Mixon might have the game of his life. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, but who knows, right? You got to take this week by week. It's only week 6. The season's never over in week 6. Nobody's season unless you're like Carolina and you fired your coach, right? It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. But it's rough.
Luis also says the only kicker you can trust is effing Tucker.
That's why I don't call him a kicker. I respect him as a football player. He's a trustworthy.
I trust Boz. No. I trust Boz. I loved what Boz did this week. Listen, those 2 misses were that was right down the center as far as
there are 31 kickers in the NFL. Baltimore has a football player out there kicking the ball. Like, that's just what it is.
And Joku is in the same zip code as
in the same state. Man, the same state.
I mean, zip code. I'll give you a zip code. That's close. It's not. Yeah.
Dante here says, "Q, you okay, bro?"
Man, wait till I have to watch this film. I haven't even watched the film yet.
It's only week 5.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and he said, "Welcome to Walmart defense."
Still welcome to Walmart defense.
Yeah, who's the Walmart greeter of the
Jacob Phillips? What you mean? He always there. Always letting somebody through. Just welcome to Walmart, baby. Come on in, get your 30-yard special. Yeah, we got 2 for 10. 2 for 10. There you go. Go get it. Go get it. If you don't get this passing play, we will hold you so you can get it on the next time, baby. Welcome to Walmart.
Okay, Ace, what do you thought about this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because when we kind of did the preview, or when I did the preview, I talked about certain keys to the game for this one, right? We talked about turnover differential. That wasn't a huge one, but obviously the team that won the turnover differential won this game. I talked about penalties. I talked about how the Chargers kind of had the advantage on penalties and the Browns didn't. The Chargers ended up getting 4 first downs off of Browns penalties in this game. The one thing that I was wrong about, though, because I talked about turnover differential, I talked about first half scoring on defense, I talked about special teams.
Turnover in this game.
The one thing I was wrong about, that run game. I was like, the Browns don't have to worry about Chargers with the run game because the Chargers don't run. That's not what they do. And I've been in a similar situation with the Chargers, and I should have known better because that happened to us last year. You look and see, 31st, 32nd ranked run defense or running offense. You're like, oh, they just don't run. And then they sneak up on you and catch you. This game was so crazy, bro, that before this game, when we literally did the preview, the splits for the Chargers and their running offense on the road, they were 31st, bro. After yesterday's game, they jumped all the way up to 11th in the NFL off of that game, dog.
Damn.
It was insane. I did not have the Chargers having more rushing yards than the Browns on my bingo card, dog. I did not have that whatsoever in this game. The one thing that I will say is, I know there's been a lot of debate about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Honestly, for me, I felt like this was a game that Nick Chubb really had his fingerprints all over, right? But I would have thought that, he at least got 20 carries. I'm not going to make it a big deal, but I feel like Nick Chubb, when you watch him run versus Kareem Hunt, he's just better. I mean, Nick Chubb is running right now like the best running back in the NFL. And I feel like you got to get him 20 carries, dog. Like, no matter what. If you're going down, especially with Jacoby Brissette, he's got to have a minimum of 20 carries. I don't know what the splits are on when the Browns give Nick Chubb 20-plus carries. What happens? That would be
I also think we need to start having the conversation of does Kareem Hunt just kind of look old back there now? Like, he just doesn't look like Kareem Hunt anymore. And I don't think we've been talking about that enough, but, might be Jerome Ford time.
I think Chubb at a minimum in this Browns offense got to get at least 20. I thought that this would be a shootout, though. Like, two offenses in the top 5. This kind of went how I expected. I think that the Chargers coach got bailed out. If that kick doesn't go wide left, bro, like, they are probably flaming that man on Twitter. And it sounds good right now for him to be like, oh, I would have put it again and I would have done the same thing. That was not a smart play for him. Luckily, he got bailed out in that aspect. But from a Browns perspective and from a Bengals fan perspective, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, when the Browns went up early, I'm like, oh, they about to win this game. And even after I leave this game, I'm still like, oh, because Jacoby Brissette and the Browns were really going toe-to-toe in a game that they could have won, right? Like, a lot of people can talk about the L and all that. A game that they could have won with Jacoby Brissette as their backup quarterback. So, like, we can talk about him throwing the pick and all of that, right? But this wasn't a game that was just like a blowout or anything like that. Like, the Browns could have had this game. It didn't go their way, but I think the thing that I take away from this is, okay, if they're in this game with the Chargers, like, yeah, I could see them beating the Patriots. Like, yeah, the Patriots, to me, I don't feel like is in the same vein as the Chargers. But another thing that I talked about that's weird for the Browns and on the defensive side of the ball is, for some reason, when they play at home, they don't average as many sacks as they do on the road. Like, on the road, they're almost getting 2 to 3 at least. And this one, at home, they're only getting about 1. I think in this game, they only got 1. So I think that that's something to pay attention to. It may be that wide 9 front. I don't know what it is, but it's not an issue for them on the road. But at home, for some reason, that seems to be the trend. But, that Browns defense, to let the Chargers run it up on you like that, bro. Austin Eckler for 170. I'm not an Austin Eckler fan, bro. I'm not a believer in Austin Eckler. I think he's a PPR monster. This dude wasn't doing PPR stuff, though. He was really getting yards on the ground. That has to be concerning if you're a Browns fan. That run defense is crazy, especially when you got the Ravens coming in 2 weeks. They got to get that together. Hopefully, Deion Jones, somebody can do something there, but I think it's going to be more than just Deion Jones. I don't know if it's the D tackles. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Like, Q would probably know way more than me because he's going to do the All-22. But that run defense is definitely an issue, and I think this cements it.
Remember when I said, hey, man, I want to get 2 of the fattest guys possible with our first 2 picks? Remember that? Remember Quincy was saying that? There was a reason. Okay. I was saying Travis Jones and Perion Winfrey. Like, we just need beef in there. Tommy Togiai is not an NFL player, man. Like, it's just, I don't know how much more needs to be put out there. I feel bad because it's not like he could be better than what he is. He's too small. His arms aren't long enough, and he's not strong enough. Like, he would be a rotational player in the XFL. Like he's a borderline.
Damn.
Well, I'm not even like trying to be like roast him or nothing, but he's a borderline like NFL talent, and he's not an especially special one. And those are dudes who kind of just rotate in like on in like something like the XFL, like a spring league or something like that. He's not very good. He's not an NFL player. He should not be playing NFL games. He's a preseason guy.
Stingray here says saying that thank the Lord Zach Taylor is the Bengals coach. Michael Lewis,
the play caller.
Michael here says Q. What do you think about Bray Wyatt coming back?
I heard it was cool. I heard it was really cool. Sounded pretty cool. I didn't watch Extreme Rules. I was was that Sunday? No, was it Saturday?
Saturday night, I think.
I was too much in awe watching that beat down that Oklahoma was getting by Texas, drooling over Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers looks good. Quinn Ewers looks good.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. I would say. Tony, I'm gonna ask you this question: if you had the opportunity to guarantee yourself a top 2 pick, and you need a quarterback,
yeah,
would you take it? Which draft would you take it in?
With this one or next one? Yeah, because Caleb. I'd probably take it in this one. I really like Bryce Young. The problem is he's small though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Bryce Young had that play against Texas where it's a corner blitz, and he sees it the whole way. He ducks underneath it. Guy goes over him, and then he runs for the first down. It was unbelievable clutch play. Obviously, he went on to throw an amazing touchdown. But
he got all the intangibles.
Yeah. He's special. He's special. Yeah.
So
okay, Tony. So this game, thoughts? I know you basically have been talking about throughout the.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, look, I will defend to the great Brandon Staley's 4th down decisions. I think coaches need to be more aggressive. I mean, look, obviously he didn't get it right, so obviously it's very easy to sit here today and say what a stupid decision. But if they had made it right, I mean, no one will be talking about it. They would have won the football game. I think that was his calculus. Like, I need 2 yards to win. I don't need to punt, and then let's see if Jacoby, and then I got to hope this kicker can't kick another 69-yard bomb or whatever. But regardless, here's my main takeaway from this game. These 2 teams need to play more. These have been back-to-back fun games. Like, Browns Chargers is just fun. Like, as a neutral observer, I'm not neutral. I mean, I was cheering against the Browns. Let's be honest. But anyway, like,
you don't like the Chargers either.
No, well, I think the Chargers are a hilarious football team. I mean, I find the meme of the Chargers to be.
I mean, like, how could this not be a banger? Like two hilarious franchises coming up against each other. Like,
yeah, well, exactly, because I was trying to diagnose like what is.
When we were 0-16, they were the 1-1-15. Like, they were just, and it was a great game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to diagnose like what is the problem for the Browns, and obviously defensively they have a ton of issues. But like at the end of the day, like the Browns are just like it's just Browns, man. It's just the Browns. The Browns are the Browns. Juju, as Juju said, right? The Browns is the Browns. That's kind of what's going on this year. They're just finding, they're 2-3 in record, but 5-0 in moral victories, right? Like that. Well, we could.
Well, you seen the adjusted point total?
Yeah. Yeah. Adjusted points is a cool stat. No. Yeah, I like adjusted points, and the Browns are
5-0 in this.
They're 5-0 in adjusted points. Well, and this is the problem for the Browns, is that like I don't think they're a bad football team, and obviously this defense is going to hold them back certainly. But they should. I mean, you can make the argument they should be 5-0. Certainly, you would have thought with Jacoby playing this well and this offense playing this well, and this being like a top 5-ish offense from an EPA per play perspective. Boy, I mean, like that's before Watson ever gets in the lineup. This team's got to be 5-0 through their first 5. And we'll see what they do when they get to like the Bills and all them. If they're going to be 2-3, I know Ace was saying like you got to feel good. If you're a Browns fan, like you got to feel good because it is Jacoby and they're running toe to toe with these teams. But at the end of the day, like I don't know, to me, it just kind of doesn't matter for them because it's we're in this kind of accounting exercise portion of the Browns schedule where it's just accumulate wins. That's all that matters because we have 11 of these games that we need without Watson before we get him. So every time they lose one of these, it's I don't know if there's a moral victory to be taken here.
Well, if the defense looked great but the offense looked like you could be like, well, Deshaun's gonna fix that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The problem with the defense is Miles is on the field right now, dog. Right. Like, there's no fix for this. Like, that's the problem that I have. It's like,
and also, look, I'll say this because we're going to talk about the Bengals here in a second. There's a chance that the Browns' offense is worse with Deshaun Watson because they're good because it's an opportunity cost thing of do you want to run the ball 31 times a game when Deshaun Watson is your quarterback. We're going to talk about the Bengals here in a second because they definitely had that issue and are going to continue to have that issue as the season goes along, because they have so many big playmakers. But their best weapon on Sunday was running the football. They didn't do it enough.
For me, the reason that I say, like, if you're a Browns fan, like, this isn't too bad, because look at the other teams in the division. I mean, the Bengals are still losing. Like, it sucks to lose when the other teams are winning, but they're still in the thick of it. Like, they're still only one game back against Baltimore. Like, and so if these other teams like the Bengals and if the Ravens start losing as well, like, and they're, let's just say 2 games out of it by the time Deshaun Watson gets back, like, they could be back in the thick of things, I think, in this division. So that's a part of it too, is how the other teams in this division play and how their records stack up against where the Browns are at.
See, the thing with the Browns right now is they should have 3 wins, but they should at least have 3, right? They, if you consider this, the way they lost this game, the way they lost the Falcons game, the way they lost the Jets game, you can at least just say, okay, one of those 3 had to go your way, right? I mean, all their 1-score games they've lost, except that Panthers.
I mean, how K York is kicking, they could have another loss.
Thank God.
Well, that's it. I mean, they could be. Yeah, I mean, it's a great point, Sonny, because for all the they should be 5-0. Like, they were a Cade York bomb away from 1-4, and this being a just disaster start to the season. Yeah, it's a good point. But I mean, I think, look, what's the win total going to be? Like, they have 11 games. They played 5. They have another 6 to go. How many do you expect them to go 3-3 from here? 2-4 from here?
Jacoby Brissette. I mean, it wouldn't be far fetched. I think 3-3 is pretty much where it ends up.
Is that Miami game in Florida?
No, it's after the bye. And yes, it is in Miami.
Oh, Jacoby Brissette homecoming. That's a dub.
So you got Patriots, you got
Jacoby Brissette coming home, baby. Dub.
Bengals, Dolphins. Well, that Bills and Bucks, that's
Bills and Bucks. No way.
But I mean, you got to get them the Texans game. You got to give them that one.
Well, Texans just watched his first game. That's his first game.
Yeah, Deshaun back for that.
Yeah. The ultimate revenge game.
That's gonna be an awkward one. I don't know who for, because he might have 6 touchdowns in that game. So, like, nobody's gonna want to be like, "Yeah, Deshaun, welcome back."
They got to win this game against Patriots. They lose this game to the Patriots this week. We'll talk about
they're in trouble.
Now I'm with you on that, Tony.
Yeah, they're in trouble. They got to win this one.
This Patriots one, yeah.
I don't like doing must wins in the first half of the season, but like, you got to get this one, and this is gonna be a tough one to get because.
And that's Zappy,
you got to get this.
I like Bailey. Liked him in the draft too. This quarterback class, by the way, way underrated. This is the most underrated quarterback class of all time. I'll say it now.
Of course.
Oh, this one with Hendon Hooker. My boy from last quarterback.
You know about Hendon Hooker? I like Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
I'm saying this class that we just had is the most underrated of all time.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah, the one we just had, dude. Desmond Ridder, great. Malik Willis, going to be great. It's going to be years, but it's going to be great. Kenny, already great. Hall of Famer. I mean, 300 yards against the best defense in the league. I mean, what are we talking about? And then you got Bailey Zappi. I mean, what are we talking about?
Bailey Zappi. I liked him though in the Senior Bowl. I was a big Bailey Zappi guy.
West Virginia, that West Virginia offense. Sonny, you're muted.
Sorry. Let's move on to the marquee matchup. Bengals Ravens.
Can I go first here?
Go.
Yeah, because I got to head out soon. This was an interesting. I mean, we already riffed on the play calling for the Bengals. Both of these teams have serious problems that, like, I think are going to prevent them from running away with the division like they should. And, like, that's Cleveland's only hope at this point, is that the Bengals and the Ravens continue to do these things that, like, stop them from, like, running away with it, right? Because clearly these are the 2 best teams in the division. But right now, like, when it comes to the Ravens, Lamar has just been more inconsistent the last couple of weeks than I've expected. I mean, like, I know people are going to point out the 2 deep layups that he missed there, but that's not he did that last week too against the Dolphins where he missed a couple of throws. There was one that came to mind where he had Mark Andrews. It was somebody he had on the out, and he just, like, flat missed it. The guy beat him by like 5 yards. Same thing happened a couple of times this week. And he just, I don't know how to describe it, but he doesn't seem like the same Lamar. It doesn't seem like the same electricity and quickness is there when he runs the ball. Like, he's still very good at doing it, but he's not it's not as crisp as it usually is with him. He's not playing his best football right now. I don't know what it is about him that's making that happen. And you could probably say the same thing for Joe Burrow, but, like, we know the diagnosis for that. or at least we feel fairly confident in the diagnosis for that. The Ravens defense, I thought played very well. They obviously were clearly very motivated. Marcus Peters was like jumping up and down anytime anything happened in this game. I mean, like clearly that man was motivated. Patrick Queen finally caught an interception. That was pretty cool. You know, nice to know that happens. You know what I mean? And I thought Odafe played a good game. He didn't show up in the stat sheet a lot, but I thought he was serviceable out there, like really good. I think he's a good player, Sonny. I'm on the Odafe train. I think Odafe is pretty good, man. He might be.
I need to finish.
He might be more on the pressure king side of things. And I know you don't like players like that, but I think he's actually a good player out there. He's athletic enough that they could do those drops when they want to drop the odd man off on the blitz, when they want to overload one side. Like he does a lot. He does a lot out there. I think he's pretty decent. J.K. Dobbins being back for this Ravens team was huge. I think Ronnie Stanley being back was huge. The run game looked a little bit different there at times. And the same thing for the Bengals. Like this is the first time I watched the Bengals play, I'm like, oh, they're going to get more than 3 yards per carry running the ball because they're actually getting chunks. So that was nice to see. It was just like the play calling for the Bengals, man. Like that's their own personal hell. It happens to them almost every game where they do stuff and you're like, why? Why are they doing this? Or why are they doing this right now? Right. In this situation. And that's a bit concerning. And the Bengals are a team that's like, man, if they just got out their own way offensively, they would be the best. Like they would be up there with Buffalo and in Kansas City with one of those teams that look like they're on a collision course to the AFC Championship, but they continue to get in their own way. And I mean, it shows up in the point totals because like this is a relatively low scoring offense for the team that has one of the better quarterbacks in football and one of the best wide receivers in football. It shouldn't be like this, right? The Ravens, they have an excuse to play these type of games because they got Devin Duvernay out there as the number one wide receiver. Like that's just going to happen. Like I can't be extra critical. And even then they schemed up. I felt like Greg Roman really outclassed Zach Taylor as an offensive coordinator in this game. Like he was able to get guys open. Opportunities for big chunks were there. Lamar just missed a couple of throws, and he just wasn't as crisp as he normally is, and that's why. With Zach Taylor, it's like, man, every yard, they are fighting like hell to get these yards, and it shouldn't be this difficult for them. And that's really what I saw watching this game. Like, there's a lot to take away on both sides of this, and I think that's why nobody's super loud about this, because I think both teams saw some fairly obvious flaws in their game about, like, that might hold them back going forward. These are going to be good teams. These two look most certainly like playoff teams, but it's just concerning that they don't seem to be able to get these things in order enough to run away with the division. And the longer you let a team like Cleveland kind of hang around, or a team like, I don't know if the Raiders are going to be in it because they don't win today, they're in trouble. But like these teams that are going to be hovering around 500, the longer you let them hang around in the wild card picture or in the division picture, that's going to be more of an opportunity for you to get knocked out the playoffs because you really missed some opportunities early that you should have capitalized on, and you would be in the position you wanted to if you did. And that's kind of the situation that at least the Bengals find themselves in. The Ravens are in a little bit different of a situation because their only two losses are to the Bills and the Dolphins. Yeah. Like, so those are two good teams. We'll see what they are going forward. I do worry about what if like Lamar gets crisp again and he starts to look like himself from like 2 weeks ago. And that's going to be dangerous. But I think overall, Ravens with Ronnie Stanley back, they're still more functional just because they can run the ball. And I think I'm ready to determine it. I think the Ravens are going to win the division this year.
Okay. Tony, AC, are you okay if Tony goes first and then me and you can go?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, Tony, go ahead, man.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well,
don't be trolling.
No trolling. I was shocked. I said before this game that I didn't trust the Ravens defense to win this game, and I picked the Bengals because of that, right? I said, look, if you run cover 2, you'll have a chance against this Bengals team, but I didn't trust that the Ravens would do that. They did exactly that, and I was just, I mean, I cannot believe it was that easy. This has been the Ravens defense were so leaky. I mean, we saw what a good offense, a good high-powered offense in Miami with a good coach could do to this Ravens defense, right? I mean, it made it look silly, especially as that game wore on. The fact that the Bengals are at a position right now where it just feels so easy to slow them down. And the thing that I came away from is, look, they ran the ball really well in this game. How do you get a team out of cover 2? Run the ball. Run the ball, and you'll have some success. They did run the ball, and it didn't. The Ravens they didn't really come out of it. They said, yeah, run the ball. Cool. We don't think you're going to do that all the way down the field. You're going to, at some point, you're going to try and put the ball back in Burrow's hands, and good things are going to happen for us. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I mean, if I'm a Bengals fan today, I mean, it is like, panic button time. They had 4.9 yards per play in this game. 4.9. They have 4.8 yards per play this season. That's you know who else has 4.8 yards per play offensively this season? My Steelers. Yeah, I mean, you bring up the passing chart. Like so much of his game plan was about plays behind the line of scrimmage, little throw it in the flat, check it down. Everything was check it down. And I understand, like, we're going to like just pile on Zach Taylor, and he should be piled on. Because we talked about the situational play calling at times in this game is moronic. The fact that this team doesn't have any cover 2 beaters other than like, well, we'll just find Hayden Hurst over the middle of the field. And that's pretty much what we have going for us. When the team runs cover 2, like, we'll try to find Hayden. And if we can, we'll just check it down, and we'll live to fight another day. I woke up this morning to this tweet from, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet from Mike Renner. Let me pull it up here. The Mike Renner tweet was, it was, what is Joe Burrow's EPA per play in cover 2 versus not cover 2? Did you guys see this morning?
No.
Mike Renner is a PFF guy. All right, let me share my screen real quick. And
PFF. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, PFF. Don't trust the grade. Trust the. The only thing you should trust is the stats that they do. I think I'm sharing my screen at this point. Yeah. Okay. There it is. Single high versus 2 high. That's single high. Joe Burrow is against single high is like a top 10 quarterback. 0.16 would put him in about top 10. Against 2 high, negative 1.8 would put him as the second worst quarterback in the National Football League. He's the second worst EPA per play of any quarterback in the National Football League when it comes to going up against 2 high defenses. It can't be this easy. I mean, it's like, come on. Look, we talk about regression and everything, and all regression is going to hit this team. They can't hit the big play anymore, and that's happened. But like, it can't be. Is it really this easy to shut down the Bengals? You just run 2 safeties deeper, you run quarters or whatever, and then that's it. This team has no answer whatsoever. I do think we have to start talking about Burrow too. I mean, like, we can't kid glove Burrow here and say, well, it's just Zach Taylor's fault. None of this is Joe Burrow either. Like, Joe Burrow has not had a big time. There are 3 games this year where the defenses primarily ran 2 high. He has had 0 big time throws in those games, 0, and 4 turnover worthy plays in those games. I mean, at some point, like, we got to get some hole shots. Maybe they're not calling those plays, and those plays are just not there. But I don't know. I got a question. Like, is he not seeing the field right in those situations? Does he not want to be? What happened to Joe Shiesty?
The one thing I was gonna add, and Ace, also please bring us, add to this. The one thing I did see from Burrow, which is kind of weird, is his confidence. That swag that he had last year, I feel like it's not there.
Gone.
And this O-line, it wasn't like the O-line was getting penetration. I mean, we got hit a couple of times on Joe Burrow, but it wasn't like previous games, right? Because we didn't blitz. So he was not like getting harassed and hit. And I felt like he looked to me like, oh, man, I can get anything done. Like that face, the frustration. I don't know. You saw the same thing, Ace?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't new. It's the frustration is because every time they come out on offense, I mean, this is what they're looking at, guys. Like, why aren't the big plays happening? This is why. Teams are just daring them to pretty much do dump offs, and you're just not going to beat them deep. And honestly, the frustration, I think, comes from this coaching staff not having any kind of answer for it. That wasn't anything that they practiced this offseason with the cover 2 shell. And when this really started happening, it started happening with Pat Mahomes and guys last season, right? And they struggled with it. But there just has been no answer for it. Like, the only answer that they have gotten from Zach Taylor and his staff is, hey, just dump it off. Well, you can't dump it off on 3rd down. I mean, you can't, like, teams are just going to sit in this entirely the whole game. So when you take away the big plays, Burrow's a guy that likes to make the big play. Teams aren't allowing him to have that. And I think he's frustrated because none of the options that they're giving him are really good cover 2 beaters. And I think it's definitely affecting, his confidence, how they play and what they do, because that was a big part of what they did, right? The big play. And then when you take T. Higgins out of there, I mean, you definitely can't beat it then, because T. Higgins is the guy that allows, when Chase is being bracketed and that coverage is there, he's the other guy that you're supposed to go to. So when you don't have him and you got Mike Thomas in there, it just doesn't make sense. And you would think in those situations, you still got Tyler Boyd. They do not target Tyler Boyd whatsoever for this cover 2. He should be the guy that you should be going to. And honestly, like, we've seen this before from Zach Taylor with him struggling. Like, a lot of people are like, all right, well, just give him some time. We cannot give him any more time anymore. Like, he's not putting guys in position to make success. I mean, you talk about it. If Joe Shiesty could be Joe Shiesty, maybe you wouldn't be calling a Philly special on the goal line. What the hell is he supposed to do? Yeah. Jump up and moss some guy in the end zone? Like, honestly, this game was frustrating. I'll get more into it. I didn't mean to cut off Tony.
No.
But, yeah, for me, it's just a frustration. And it's not even just him. You look at Jamar Chase. Look at all of this offense.
I agree.
They're going to just play this against us. And the funny thing is, people are like, oh, well, how did they beat the Dolphins and the Jets? Well, they didn't really play cover 2 like that,
right.
guys. That's why. Right. They didn't play the 2-man show. They didn't do the cover 6 or anything like that. And so Zach Taylor is just not really giving them any solutions for this defense. And I just don't see how it's going to get better, because the play calling isn't getting better. The creativity just isn't there. And Burrow's just sitting there like, all right, I'm just going to have to be checked down Charlie every single play.
It's crazy because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Sonny, but like this, the new guy, Mike McDonald, whatever his name is, he's not like a cover 2 guy, right? It's not like you guys have been running cover 2 a bunch this year.
Mm-hmm. So what we have been doing is dropping a lot of people in zone.
Yeah.
And we have been working safeties deep, hence why that Miami game went to crap, because the safeties, especially the rookies, forgot where they're supposed to. So the Ravens transition from man to zone. Like the play that you saw,
gotcha.
That's also we run so much zone this year, which is crazy. Hence, also why we're getting more picks, right? Because I always tell people, the past 2 years, Ravens don't getting any pick. Well, yeah, because when you're running man, it's hard for you to get any picks. When you're running zone, discipline is important. But if you're disciplined, you will have more opportunities to get a pick. Also need a pass rush, because if not, eventually the quarterback would just pick you apart.
I'm going to disagree with what Q said at the end there. He said, both these teams look like playoff teams, and the Ravens are probably going to run away with it. I don't know that the Ravens are going to run away with it, first of all, because, okay, Lamar, this was like a C game from Lamar. Right? I mean, we see this every once in a while. This was
that was the grade that I gave him in my video.
Yeah, it was just like, obviously the overthrow on the fourth down play is just, I mean, that's mind-boggling stuff. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But regardless, this offense is so reliant on Bateman. They're so lucky they have Duvernay, because imagine if they didn't have Duvernay. I mean, imagine if Bateman goes down, they didn't have Duvernay, right? You're relying on like Tylan Wallace and Prochet. Like, this offense is DONE, man. Just like stick a fork in them too. It's 2 bad offenses out there. I do think they're going to get more juice as they continue to work Dobbins in. I think they should have. I mean, they should be. I understand they're going to take it slow with Dobbins, and likely he'll get more and more carries as we go, and this will kind of pick up steam.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still don't understand the Ravens offensively. It's like it feels like an offense that should be way more high powered than it is. But yeah, so I don't think they're going to run with it. I also don't think the Bengals are a playoff team right now. I mean, if it's this easy to beat the Bengals, right? And if the cheat code is just run cover 2, and the Bengals are limited to getting somewhere around 20 points, and all you got to do is get to 21 and you win, like, that can't be, that's not a playoff team. There's no way, especially with the schedule that they have in the second half of this schedule coming up. So, yeah, man, if you're a Bengals fan today, boy, this is a tough one, because it's your head coach who's the play caller, right? No one's going to tell him to stop calling the plays, right? He's going to have to make that decision himself. And he's not going to do it. They won the Super Bowl last year. I mean, again, you're asking a guy 5 games after calling the Super Bowl and being plays away from winning it to relinquish that duty. It's not going to happen. So you're just going to have to hope that he's going to get better, and this team's going to, like, mid-season figure it out when it comes to this thing. But again, I'll go back to this. They ran the ball really well in this game. They were dominant on the ground. They were running the football well, and it didn't matter. Offensively, they were no more efficient than they'd been in when it comes to like what they were doing against the Cowboys or the Steelers. The running game got going. The Ravens said, "We don't care. You're not going to stick to it," and they were right. They didn't stick to it. And the Bengals had 2 late drives. One of them was a lot of penalties, and the other one they didn't even score on it. So.
Okay, I will say this. Ace, if you want, we can go back and forth through the game. Like, let's talk about halves, right? So the first half ends 10-10, and I personally don't like the Ravens jump into a 10-0 lead, and people are like, are they gonna blow a 10-point lead? I'm like, yo, this is the first quarter, like this early second. What are you talking about? 10-point lead in the second quarter means nothing. But anyway, that was media wise. That was attack. Right in the first half, the Bengals couldn't run the ball. Right, that first half, there was at the end they started running a little bit better, but in the first half, especially that first quarter, they couldn't run as much. Especially Mixon, P. Ryan had a couple of decent runs, but
I don't feel like they even tried to run the ball. I mean, they were the 3 and outs that Zach Taylor had. I mean, that's what the issue is. Like Zach Taylor with these 3 and outs. I talked about it before we got into the game. Right, you cannot come out slow against the Ravens. Even though the defense played well against the Ravens in the first half, if Lamar Jackson hits that guy down the sideline, you're looking at a deficit that's 17-0. And you're talking about this Bengals defense, as good as they are, there were points where they didn't even get a break off of the field. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you can't even make plays to the point where the defense can get a rest or anything. And you're talking about 4 straight 3 and outs. And I love how Zach Taylor's like, oh, well, we started slow. Well, yeah, Zach, that's your MO. That's what you've done. That is what you do when it comes to Bengals offensive football. And, a lot of people are going to think, are the Bengals just upset because of, this game? Are they asking for Zach to stop calling plays? We were asking for Zach to stop calling plays last year, the year before that. This has been an ongoing thing. And Tony's right. We're stuck with it. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to be vocal about it if you want any kind of pressure to be on them. But I think that the Ravens in the first half, I thought that they did a great job. I think the Bengals defensively did a great job. But offensively, it was just a struggle. I have to give kudos to that defense, though. I mean, I talked about it being a weakness. I think the Ravens defense showed up in this game for sure. They made a statement. We saw a little bit of it against Buffalo, and I think that they came out with the cover 2, and they were like, beat it. And Zach Taylor is gonna Zach Taylor.
I will say this. Because people talk about go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna point out one other horrifically bad play call that doesn't get talked about enough. So it's first down and around to Joe Mixon. Second down, they motion Jamar Chase into the backfield, and it's like, wait, what is this formation? Like, don't let this.
They used him as a running back a couple times. Yeah.
Oh my god, but it was so obvious. I mean, it was like the tendency breaker stuff. Like that was like the tendency 101. Like, I already know what this play is. This is gonna be some kind of run to Jamar Chase, and it exactly was that, and it got stuffed for no gain.
And then the other thing that I don't want to see, and we've seen this 3 weeks in a row. I mean, one time it was on 4th down. These stupid 4th down plays that Zach Taylor likes to call the stupid toss play. If I have to see that toss play one more time in this game,
the shovel flip.
You literally see Patrick Queen say, all right, the weak side is kind of the strong side. Everybody's over there. Not only do you give them that tail, you send Tyler Boyd in motion to the same. I'm like, bro, anybody can see that that's going to be a toss play to the left or a run to the left. Right. It's just, bro, the predictability, the simplicity of Zach Taylor and this offense, just not thinking. I mean, even when it comes to if you're going for it on 4th down, right? You don't call I was about to say drop an F-bomb. You don't call a shovel pass in that situation. Like the situational football for Zach Taylor is idiotic at some points because, okay, hey, I could understand if this is the first half, like Sonny's saying, the Bengals aren't really running the ball. They're not really doing anything. You decide to do that when you're actually having success on a drive with Joe Mixon running the ball. You decide once again, like Bengals fans have seen this in the past with Zach, hey, let's get in the red zone and not run the ball. How many times as Bengals fans have we witnessed Zach do that in any game? It's like, hey, red zone, you might want to run here. He just doesn't run the ball at all. Zach Taylor, bro, he's always trying to play 4D chess in situations where you don't have to. A Philly special on 2nd down, ridiculous, bro. There's no need for that. There's just no need for that. I think that the Ravens, Devin Duvernay, that was a guy that I thought could potentially have a big game, right? Because Duvernay has been one of the most consistent guys for the Ravens this season. So when he was coming around, he was killing us on those end arounds with that speed. I don't know what his speed is, bro, but that dude is pretty damn fast. He was killing us around the edges there. And it's just like they didn't really try to adjust to Duvernay. Like, I get it. You got to watch for Mark Andrews. But Duvernay was really eating the defense up. There's a lot of people giving the defense a lot of salt. When that situation happened, when you scored at the end on a QB sneak, which you should have ran, hey, on the drive that you ran in Philly Special, might want to do a QB sneak. I think we've run 2 QB sneaks in the last 2 seasons combined.
They had the guy that came and pushed.
Maybe,
they had that guy that came and pushed Burrow. The tight end. Right?
Oh, yeah, bro. This is what's ironic about it. I have been on Twitter. You can find tweets of me from last year saying, so, hey, are we going to try a QB sneak? Well, they don't want to do that because Burrow's hurt. Well, guess what? Here's a bright idea. Just put the backup quarterback in. If you're worried about Joe Burrow getting hurt on a sneak, put the backup quarterback in. Yeah. There's always these situations.
Or do the one to the tight end. The one to the tight end is the new.
That's what the Ravens been doing. Yeah,
that's the new craze,
bro. It just honestly, I don't want to take anything away from the Ravens. They came and played a hell of a game, but you can't tell me that when we scored with 2 minutes left and the Ravens have 3 timeouts and Justin Tucker, who we know can make a 60-yard field goal, and you're going to kick a kickoff to them that's going to get a touchback that starts the game at the 25-yard line with Lamar Jackson. Why would you think that you're going to win that game? Like, I can't get mad at the defense for giving that up. They literally only have to get about 25 to 30 yards, and the game is literally over because you have Justin Tucker, the best kicker in football. And everybody's jumping on the defense, and they've got to put the Bengals in a situation to win. How about the offense should? How about Zach should actually take a field goal, which I didn't agree with. But hey, if he takes that field goal, then your defense actually has a chance because then they have to actually score a touchdown. It's just, bro, there's nothing that the defense played out of their minds, bro. The Bengals defense is legit. I mean, this was a top 5 Ravens offense. This is explosive offense. Like, I'm not faulting Lamar for what he did against this defense. This defense is legit. Like, they gave him a bunch of looks. At the end of the day, Lamar came through when it mattered on that last drive. But to say that, I don't know, like to kind of make it seem like the Bengals defense just isn't good, that's what happened to the Ravens offense. I mean, obviously Bateman was out. They still made plays here and there. But the defense can only do so much, bro. If you're not scoring, this really could have been a blowout, honestly. Like, if Von Bell doesn't make that interception, this game is like a booty beatdown, bro. And it's all because of the offense and the struggles. And sure, Burrow, I will say that interception that he threw, great play by Patrick Queen, probably watches me talk trash about him. Great play by him to draw back in coverage, make that interception. That was a huge factor in the game. But when you're asking Joe Burrow to just throw screen passes the entire game, this guy can't do anything. I mean, 12 targets, 10 to 12 targets for Jamar Chase. His average is like 4 yards a catch. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, when you don't scheme up stuff that's going to help you win, and then when you don't use Tyler Boyd, you target him 3 times. There's no place on earth. There should be no place on earth where Mike Thomas has the same amount of targets as Tyler Boyd in the game. They just don't use him. 3 targets in this game for Tyler Boyd with T. Higgins being out of the game. Just made no sense whatsoever. Sorry to be taking over this, Sonny. I want you to be able to talk about your W and everything. I'm just frustrated as a Bengals fan because Zach Taylor in this situation, he's just handicapping this offense. What are the keys to beating him? Playing cover 2, because you know what? Zach still doesn't have an answer for it. And I don't think he's going to have an answer for it. And you had 10 days to prep for this game. 10 days. Mm-hmm. You know that teams are going to play you in cover 2. You know they're going to run quarters. You know they're going to do cover 2, man. You know that you know what's coming. And you literally are not doing anything to take advantage of it. It's just a shame, bro. And I feel bad for the defense every week when they're on the field, standing up in those situations, limiting teams with points. But it's just Zach Taylor, bro.
So I will say this. I think the defense of the Bengals is legit. I mean, I think we have said it for the past couple of weeks. I also think the Lamar bailed them out a bunch of times. I think this actually was Lamar's worst game. And it wasn't necessarily because of the defense, meaning defense played well. But for example, the Von Bell pick, the guy was open. He underthrew the ball. Great play by Vaughn, but if he throws the ball like he has been for the first 4 weeks, that's a completion. The defense didn't do anything special there, right? He underthrew. Von Bell made the play. The Duvernay one, that's a harder throw, right? That is definitely a harder throw. The defense played that ball well. I don't know if it was Eli Apple or Cheeto, whoever it was. He played that as good as you can play Duve, but he overthrew the guy, so he didn't even give him a chance. And on the Wallace play, so that would have been a touchdown. The one on Von Bell's pick, I think that would have put them in field goal range. And the one that they go for it, right? Wallace could walk, right? He couldn't underthrow the ball. He was so wide open. Eli Apple, I don't know where he got caught looking. He was so wide open that he could underthrow that ball, and Wallace might have still walked to the end zone, right? A couple of things from this game. So Lamar, yeah, I agree with Tony. It's a C game. In the fourth quarter, he decides to run, and then the Bengals couldn't stop him, right? There was a very big difference at every drive when you put Stanley and you have McCarry. Both of them coming from injury. He came into the league as a guard. He basically has played guard, center, and tackle for the Ravens. But you get big difference, right? Like Stanley had a good hold on Hendrickson versus Henderson. You can feel the pressure when McCarry was there. So definitely you can see those drives, the difference in drive. J.K. Dobbins, you can see how the running game for the Ravens are picking up since J.K. Dobbins. Now Gus Edwards is starting to practice, so when these two guys are there, I'm hoping the running game goes back. Duvernay, they used him all over, right? They used him in sweeps, but now they were putting him in the backfield. They were doing the sweeps. They were throwing him the ball, use him in creative ways. People like to hate on Giro, and the reality is, I think Giro calls a pretty good gameplay. The problem is, as soon as the offense stalls for a little bit, it's always Giro's fault. There's nobody else's fault. It's always Giro's fault.
Well, yeah, you got to fire. I mean, we're all firing coaches around here, so you got to jump on board, man.
The O-line for the Ravens played very solid game. I actually thought that one thing that the Bengals did that was smart. They had a spy, but that spy didn't sit there. Because the four weren't getting to Lamar. As soon as the spy saw, okay, he's not taking off. As soon as he's moving outside the pocket, he was coming and blitzing. And I thought that was good. I thought that was smart. I haven't seen any other team doing that.
I also had the thing with Hubbard. Like, so when you talk about he wasn't running at first, it's because Hubbard was kind of sealing the edge on that side. And they made a smart adjustment to have Lamar start running up the middle instead of going to the side that the edge was. And that's where he had a lot of success.
Yeah, no, I agree. So they were playing Lamar running ability well. The passing lanes, as far as I saw, look, Duvernay, strong game. Andrews had a strong game. The other two, Prochet and Wallace, and Robinson, they really couldn't get open. They were not getting open at all. So the offense was limited on that scheme. I thought they should have run the ball more. Similar to Ace here. Yeah. I thought they should have run the ball more, the Ravens. The one thing is the Ravens are freaked out with injuries, right? Last year was so bad. So
it's still bad. You know how you know that the Ravens put someone on IR? You can just check. There's a thing you can check. Just see if the day ends in Y. If it does, they put someone on IR. They did today, by the way. Marcus Williams.
They did. Marcus Williams. IR. Marcus Williams will be out. The rumor is probably 2 months. And he was having a strong year. But J.K. Dobbins is in a pitch count very slowly. Even Stanley, right? Stanley is on a rotational basis.
Yeah, they're rotating their left tackle. When's the last time you saw that?
Yeah, one series in, one series out, because they're so freaked out of people getting injured. They're trying to take it slow, which sucks when you're trying to get momentum on offense, right? It sucks. Other than that, I do want to talk about the defense. The defense gets so many flags for the Ravens. If you take it as a whole and you're just watching the stats, yeah, they're trash. If you think about, let's talk about the Jets. They dominated the Jets until the end, where the Jets just got a bunch of yards in garbage time. Okay. Then on week 2, we play. Who did we play in week 2?
Miami.
No, that was a Miami game, was it? Hold on. Now I'm blanking. Was it Miami? Yeah, Miami. Okay. Yeah. So Miami. And then they play Miami hell of a good for 3 quarters, and then 1 quarter, which it was abysmal, right? And they played the Patriots. And the Patriots, I felt like that defense was good. There was one guy, remember Terrell Bond? Well, we had the Terrell Bond in that game, was called Armour Davis, which had got benched. He's not even being active since that game, right? Yeah, he got benched and not been active since that game.
Poor guy.
Check this. Right? He's a 4th-round rookie. I get it, right? I'm not saying he's trash. I think he can grow, right? But that game he got abused by Sammy Parker. Not Sammy Parker, Devontae Parker.
Devontae Parker. Yeah.
And then with the Bills are power offense. The Ravens held them to 23 points. That defense held them to 23 points. They did similar that they did against the Bengals. Cover 2. Look at Stephon Diggs, right? The guy that kills most defense. Very quiet game against the Ravens. The problem that I have with the Ravens defense is not on the pass. People talk about this passing defense. And actually, Marlon Humphrey's having a great quiet year. Very, very strong quiet year. Marcus Peters has had a solid year. And then Pepe has, the snaps that he's been getting more and more. A pretty solid year. It's a rush defense, right? The rush defense going back to Miami. The problem is the Ravens usually have start hot and teams don't run as much. And I think that's why this rushing defense looks better. But go check the yards per carry against the Ravens, and they're big. They're big. So they're not gushing us for 100 or 150, but it's because the Ravens usually start hot early and teams go away from running the ball. Yeah, the rushing defense scares me. Goes to the linebackers and the D tackles. D tackles, for the most part, are doing a good job filling the linemen, but the D tackles they're not there. They're not there. That's where I think Patrick Queens has been struggling. He's not there to clean after the D tackles, and he's not being sucked by O linemen, right? Because that would be the one thing. If an O line is getting to the second level and just swallowing Patrick Queen, okay, got it. That's the D line allowing O lines to run free, but that's not happening that much. It's just he needs to be there to make the play. The other thing I found very interesting. This goes to something that A said. Pepper Williams, right? I like him a lot. He's still a rookie, a 4th-round rookie. He covers the slot. Against Chase, and no disrespect against Chase, but they're similar body type. And him on Chase and having somebody over the top, you can kind of neutralize that because you're bracketing him. But they were bracketing Tyler Boyd, and Tyler Boyd's a big dude. Like, go check if you have the ability to watch the All-22, go check when Pepe and Boyd were directly in front of her. Like, it looked like a giant and somebody small, right? Because Pepe's not that big. And I'm like, okay, if you watch the Chargers-Browns game, every time Williams was making a throw, he looked bigger than whoever the corner was. That was Boyd against Pepe. But the Bengals refused to go to him. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that because I knew it was going to be a mismatch. Not only because Boyd is super talented, just pure height, right? All Burrow had to do is just do a height. Saying all that, the one bigger problem that I have here, and it's also similar that we talk about, for example, the Denver Broncos, and all I hear is Hackett. Hackett is horrible. Hackett. And I'm like, where's Russell Wilson in this equation, right? And then because he threw the bad throw over there in the end zone on Thursday night, now people are talking about him. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. He's on his 3rd year. I would like to see Joe Burrow say, you know what? I don't like what I see. I'm going to audible here. I'm going to check here, right? And saying, well, you know what? Boy, I can see Boy on Pepe Williams, a 4th-round rookie. Let me try that. Now, the one thing to be fair is that flat was wide open. There was just nobody there. So every time he was going there, it was a 6 yards gain at minimum. And that's how I'm sure he threw 250 or whatever around there.
I think.
Yeah, okay, 217. I'm sure 150 were just dump ups to the flat or a 3-yard completion that went for 10. And I was going crazy. I'm like, Ravens, can somebody follow whoever goes to the flat? But the Ravens are so concerned with the deep pass, they're just leaving them wide open. So that was that.
But that's a win. But that's a win, right? I mean, you get this offense to check it down into the flat. I'm
gonna tell you why not. Yes, it's a win if it is a 3-yard completion and 3-yard gain. If it is a 3-yard completion and then you run it for 13-yard gain, it's not a win. It's the same as you throwing a 10-yard pass or 12-yard pass.
But you're playing a percentage game, right? The chances of it being a 13-yard pass, if you throw the ball 13 yards,
Okay.
100% chance of it being a 13-yard pass.
But
right?
the problem was it was basically every single time, and there was a lot of times there was just 10 plus on it was a 3-yard completion with a 10-yard plus gain, right? That was the biggest problem. I agree with you. So, but yes, letting them throw a 3-yard dump off, cool. The pursuit to tackle that guy was not there, right? So that was.
The Ravens are a bad tackling team. Yeah. I forgot to say that. Awful tackling team. Not good.
Yes. On the play, I did give a lot of flack to Marcus Williams on the Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst had a great game, by the way. On the Hayden Hurst touchdown, I said, like, yo, what was that? Tried to tackle him with the hand, but that was the play that he got hurt. So obviously, looks like he got this, but I think he got dislocated because how he tried to tackle him. If he just tries to lunge and take him down, he's still here. Anyway, it was a good game. It was good that the Ravens went on the right side of a good game because obviously we have been on the short stick of those good games. But hey, I'll take this win. I think the Bengals have issues. I do like how this defense is playing. I was expecting more pressure. I would say that on Lamar. I do think I know what Ace is saying. Hubbard was basically just containing that edge. So that takes the rusher out. But on the offensive side, I agree with everybody, right? It's not even on the cover two. It's just the Bengals, even though I hate it, right? But just as an analytical point, let me take my Ravens fandom out. The Bengals were playing with swag last year. They had this swag, right? Even when things weren't going good, it was like they were confident, the 70-yard bomb will come or we'll do something that they were, you might be winning. We're coming for you. We're going to kill you here. It wasn't there. It felt very doom and gloom. That offense looked like they didn't want to be there. And I get what Ace is saying with Zach Taylor, but I also want Joe Burrow as a third-year quarterback, a guy that went to the Super Bowl. You know what? Let me call. I don't like this play. I'm gonna check down out of this play. I didn't like what the defense was showing me. I checked down. I moved. Anything, right? Because the coach, I'm not trying to deflect blame on Zach Taylor, but same thing with Hackett. Because I hate that they went for it, right? As an analytical, I loved it in that moment for the Ravens, but yeah, I hate it.
What did you think about the Ravens going for it? Both.
I hate it even more. Look. Oh my God, Tony, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, because this was we talked about it so much in the Browns game, but then your Ravens. So
Coach
AWS showed up and was like, beep boop, beep boop. We should go for it.
No. You can see Harbaugh. Somebody talk to Harbaugh. Say, I want this effing thing to stop. They're going for it on 4th and 2, similar to the Chargers now, very early in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamar wants to go for it.
Yeah, it's the first drive of the second half.
Lamar wants to go for it. Who's the coach, Harbaugh? Now I'm talking to you, Harbaugh. Who's the damn coach? It's you.
That coach quarterback relationship is very sensitive, bro.
Yeah, No.
Very delicate.
Harbaugh needs to. But you know what? It's not even Lamar, because Lamar can say, "I'm gonna go for it," and if Harbaugh says no, and then Lamar starts acting up, then you have a conversation. But Lamar said, like, "Let me go for it, coach." And you can see Harbaugh saying, like, "Oh man, no, old man, you are the coach. You can say, you know what? We ain't going for it. We ain't going for it here." Now we got like Joe Burrow.
Hold on, because you just said, right? You like a team that plays with swag. We know we're gonna go out there like we're just gonna beat up on you. That's Lamar, right? Lamar's like, no, give me the ball. I'm gonna get this foul.
I had no problem with Lamar saying that again.
Yeah. Well, you want the coach, but then the coach is gonna tamp down that. So if
Harbaugh does say, "Hey, we're going for 3," do you want Lamar to go back to Harbaugh and be like,
"That was a punt.
We're gonna change that"?
No. That was a Tucker field goal. No, I had no problem. The problem is this year the 4th down plays had not been working. They had not been working.
Yeah, but no. But don't be. I mean, like I understand, but that's like a results-oriented way of looking at it, right? Do you trust Lamar Jackson to get you 3 yards on a play, or 4 yards, 2 yards on a play when you need it? Because if the answer to that question is yes, you should always go for it in those situations.
You should always go for it.
No. Hey, okay. If that is the case,
yeah.
Man, everybody that has, let's say, a top 15 quarterback, let's call it a top 10.
Yeah.
You take your punter and you say, you know what? I'm going to have a new position. You are not going to be part of my 53-man roster because why the F am I going for it? Because at worst, well, you can do it. And that, let's say you're in a 3rd and 10 or a 4th and 10, from your 25. You can say, we're going to go 4 deep. I'm going to just throw almost a Hail Mary. And if they intercept him, whatever, it's basically a punt. So you know what? Why am I carrying a punter? Yeah.
Well, no, okay. Well, obviously, you're being a little extreme there, but I mean, to your original point, though, right? I mean, like, should teams who have elite quarterbacks, especially a guy like Lamar who can win with his legs or with his arm, should they be going for it more on 4th down? Yes.
No, but how many points are going to leave in the board?
I mean, but
you're going to net more points. You're going to net more. You're going to net more.
Okay,
Ace, you're going to leave points on the board, but you're going to get more touchdowns.
Ace just said earlier that he wanted Zach to take the points there, right? If I
No. I said I could see that. I was behind him going for it on 4th down.
Okay.
Am I behind him calling a pitch play? Like if you're saying I'm going to call a pitch play, or I'm going to let Burrow actually throw it into the end zone. Yeah, I'm going with Burrow throw it into the end zone, but the pitch play I didn't agree with. Now I can see why somebody was like Zach should have taken the point, sure. But at the time, I was like, yeah, on the road in this game against Baltimore, you definitely go for it. Now, the way that he went about it, I didn't agree with. But I think in that situation, you got a top 5 quarterback, bro. That's what you're paying Lamar for, or that's what you want to pay him for. You trust Lamar Jackson. I mean, Lamar Jackson is the guy that really won you that game on that 3rd and inches or whatever, right? He's the one that got the first down to make sure that you guys sealed the game. I think you put the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the greatest game to put him in that because he was also the one that kept this game close. Like he left on that 4th down. That's a 7-point that he left on the pick. That was 3. At least let's say he completes that and then there's more yards. That's 3. That was the 7, and then the 7. He left 17 points on the field in this game.
Yeah, but I mean, Lou Anarumo is a good defensive coordinator. This guy had.
I'm not saying that he's a bad defensive coordinator. All I'm saying is like 3 plays, literally 3 plays. That it was him missing the target, right? Yeah. I'm not saying the rest. I'm not even talking about the rest of the game. This rest of the game could have gone the same way, right? Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is Duvernay. If that is just a perfectly thrown ball. That's a touchdown because he was going to the end zone. Sure. The Tyle Wallace, which is a different drive, another touchdown, and the pick on the through, right? That would have been a field goal if they don't gain any more yards.
Was it a different drive or was it the same drive?
No, those are 3 because after that they punted, right? There's 3.
I mean, I haven't looked at the all 22, but I know for a fact that Lou was trying out some new stuff defensively that he'd never run before yesterday. Like they had Dax Hill and Trey Flowers.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dax Hill alert.
Time. Like there was stuff that Lamar was probably looking at. Like I haven't seen them come out in this before. Like what is this? So there's that element of it too. I'm not saying that that's why he underthrew the pass, but certain stuff that he probably was expecting to be there probably looked a little different to him.
Anyway, I personally right now, because it hasn't worked as much, I'm out. I'm going for it unless you really need it.
Run better plays. And one thing I think that coaches are stupid about is we get into this situation where it's
wait, the play was perfectly run. If you see
that's what I'm saying. The Ravens are on the right one, but I'm saying generally speaking, coaches do this thing where they go, I need to get 3 yards, so I'm going to scheme up a play that will get me like 3 to 4 yards, right? Just run the whole playbook. Like, it's act like it's 3rd and 5. Like the whole playbook's open here. We can run whatever the hell we want. We can run a deep shot here. Like that. That's what I liked about the Ravens on that play is that they caught the Bengals out. The guy was wide ass open deep.
Yeah, because
that's what a lot of people forget too. It was a short play. It was like 3rd and 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
And instead of going for that, he was like, "Oh, this guy is deep," and then he went for that one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Do that more. T should do that more.
And to me, when you have someone like Lamar Jackson, like Joe Burrow, sure, you're going for it, right? But Joe can run, but you're not really expecting that's a factor on that play. Lamar, even if you call a bad play, he's the type of quarterback
Right.
he could still get the first down just off of running. So, like, for the Ravens, I feel like anytime I'm in a situation as a defense against Lamar Jackson in his 4th and 3, I'm like, oh, shit, because he can just run if something breaks down and get that first down easily.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I need to find the splits on 4th and 1 because the Ravens haven't been good, and we had gone a bunch. And that play, the play call was perfect, right? Meaning, they ran, if I'm not mistaken, it was Mark Andrews to the flat on a 3-yard, like a short. It was just enough to get a first down. I think that's where Eli Apple got caught looking on Mark Andrews, and then Wallace just went, right? And you can see Lamar was gonna go to Andrews, and then he was like, "Whoa, my boy's over there by itself," and then he overthrew him. He was too wide open.
In his defense, he did get. There was a blown coverage, I think, on one of those plays. It might have been the Andrews touchdown where both guys went with someone. It was, I think it was Andrew.
A crosser.
Andrew scored on that.
A crosser. Okay. Luis Cousins says, didn't you feel the game was kind of boring? No. I like games like this. Defense showed up. Defense played well.
Well, this is the new NFL now, right? We are in the lowest scoring season. I believe I read the stat was since 2003. So yeah, I mean this is the new meta, right? We're in a low scoring league.
Okay,
get used to these games.
Ace, anything else you want to add to the?
Nah, man. This was the only thing I'll add to it is this was a major loss, and I'm not just saying like hit the panic button or anything right now, but given the circumstances of what's riding on the line, like now you're 0-2 with the divisional record, right? So those games, it almost feels like 3.5 because you got the other teams in the division, the divisional record. That's why you're not in front of the Browns right now, right? So that's a big loss, I think, from that standpoint. But they got to figure this out, man. You got to put some pressure on Zach Taylor to do it. Defense is playing amazing right now. Like I can't put anything on the defense right now. Offense is gonna have to do something. Running the ball with Joe Mixon 14 times is not enough. Not in a game where he's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. They're gonna have to figure out how to do something there. But yeah, hats off to Baltimore. They came out to play well. Defense stepped it up. And yeah, they came out and did what they needed to do in a game that was a very valuable one because, like I said, divisional record, 1-game lead. Now they're probably up at least 2 to maybe even 3 on us just based off of record and the division tiebreaker as well. So got to get back to the drawing board and figure out what's going on with this offense. Cover 2 is not going away anytime soon. Get used to it. They got to figure out a way to beat it. The one thing I will say, though, this is why I always say the most important person on the Bengals offense, it's not Joe Burrow. This is going to be crazy. It's not Jamar Chase. It's T. Higgins. Because when T. Higgins is on the field and everybody covers Jamar Chase, he's the other guy that opens that whole offense up. Because once teams start doing that and paying attention to Chase, that's when T starts to eat. That's when they get points. You saw it in the Dolphins game. When you don't have someone like T. Higgins, that is what can happen to the offense.
Okay. And on that note, we're gonna let you guys go to on Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday to preview next week. Until then, thank you everybody for watching. Make sure you subscribe and comment. Hit that like. See ya.
TJ Watt.